You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
Sunrise on the horizon. Sky is blue, no denying. News with Skyjack Morgan. Bright and early new dawn. Every headline, every story. Gives your morning some glory. Stay informed.
Good morning, beautiful people. How the heck are you?
Good morning headlines with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling. With coffee in your cup, used to fill you right up. Cleansing weather on the go. Morning shows you
I have a couple.
Join us on this daily ride with
Well, your morning side by side. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. So glad that you're alive.
Sky will keep you well supplied.
Good morning, headlines.
Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm so glad that you're alive. Ain't it wonderful to be here today? Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. I'm so glad that you're alive and healthy. And this will, as we barrel towards World War III, I know that we had a very busy weekend. It looks like CNN, Time Warner, AOL, Paramount, HBO... And they're all one company now. CBS, that's one company. I'm gonna have to cancel my Paramount subscription. Good Lord, Larry and David Ellison, they are the bosses of the world now. They control 2/3 of our information. If you like independent news coverage, if you like independent points of view and independent just opinion, then please consider donating to a channel like this, because this is how we're going to end up. I'm going to start asking more and more, because honestly, if we don't have channels on YouTube and also other platforms doing this, then we won't have any kind of independent free press anymore. We won't have it. You see, of course they approved the merger because of course they wanted their friend in power. They want their friend as the boss. Barry Weiss is now going to be the king of all media. It used to be Howard Stern. Now it's Barry Weiss. Boy, have the tables turned, right? Indeed. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Remember when the government broke up monopolies? I remember when they used to do that. Even Teddy Roosevelt was into that type of thing. Breaking up monopolies was a big thing for many years in America, but not anymore. Now that's over. We're not doing that anymore. I'm sorry. Those days are gone. Sorry, everybody. Those days are gone. It's over. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we go through it. Israel owns us. You're absolutely right. Israel does own us. It isn't their fault, though. They bought us. So, I guess I don't know how that happened. How did they end up being the ones that owned us? We're the America. America is now Israel's rent-a-cop. We go where they say. We are their lapdogs. We go wherever they tell us to go. You want to bomb Iran? Let's go. And they had to do it fast. They weren't going to imagine it from their point of view, right? They're like, hey, we're arguing in good faith about the future of these nations and how we're going to do business in the future. Why are you bringing your warships? You're not going to use those warships either. Of course, I called this I said it was going to happen last Saturday. It happened this most recent Saturday, so I was a week off. But like I said, America doesn't bring warships unless they're coming to play. They're going to kill some folks. Of course, 4 Americans have been killed. Tragically, Americans have lost their lives. No one's counting how many are dead on the other side yet because, well, Americans don't care about that. We care about the 4 dead Americans. Right? Blech. Because that's how humanity is divided up, everybody, with geopolitical borders, we decided. We decided that we will divide all of humanity up with these lines in the sand. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I knew it would be shortly after SOTU. You got it. After the State of the Union, you're absolutely right. No, it's not working. You still look like you're trying to do a Grindr ad. Thank you, UK name. Really? You think so? I look like I'm trying to do a Grindr ad? Thank you. Well, then the Republicans will love me today. If I look like a Grindr ad, then they'll be loving me today. I know they will. And you know what? Senator Warner had some choice words. Let's see what he said about it.
Some of the things you just said. First of all, you have access to intelligence that few other people have. The president said in the video he put out that there was a possibility that the Iranians could use missiles that could strike the American homeland. Senior administration officials said that the time.
How would they have missiles to strike the American homeland? And here's the thing that's going to happen. Let me tell you since I was right about the last one, let me tell you what's going to happen now. We're going to see more and more terrorist attacks or things that we will call terrorist attack, like what happened in Austin, Texas yesterday. Some guy walked into a bar with an Iranian flag and started shooting, injured 14 people. He killed a couple. We're going to see more and more of that happening. Because, well, we killed their Ayatollah. What do you expect to happen when we kill their Ayatollah? What did you think was going to happen? 3 dead? Is it 3 dead in Austin? Yeah, it makes sense.
Was chosen because they saw intelligence that the Iranians were going to launch preeminent strikes. Did you see
We heard they were going to launch preeminent strikes, so we launched preeminent strikes. Trust us, America. Go back to sleep in America. Go back to sleep, America. We heard there were going to be preemptive strikes, so we preemptively struck because we're the good guys. What? We're the good guys and we attacked a country and killed their president. So far, Donald Trump has been president for about a year, and he's a little over a year and a month, 13 months, lucky number 13. In the middle of Ramadan, we killed the Ayatollah. In your name, the Ayatollah was murdered. In your name, the president of Venezuela was kidnapped and will probably soon be murdered. This is what we're doing now in America. We're just going around the countries and taking out the people that won't sell us there or give us there or make deals for their oil. That's what we do now. If you won't make deals for your oil, natural resources, or, like random shit, then we're going to kill you. That's what we do in America. That's the vibe now.
Any of that information?
The Iranians have been working on increasing their military capabilities. And remember, this was supposed to be military capabilities, at least on the nuclear front, that the president himself said were obliterated based upon the strike of 7 months ago. I saw no intelligence that Iran was on the verge of launching any kind of preemptive strike against the United States.
There you go. So Senator Warner said that there was no evidence of this. We have not been presented with any evidence of this, and that which can be claimed without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. We can now dismiss the claim that they were about to preemptively strike us. They were gonna. I swear to God, they were winding up a punch. What the hell were we worried about? Well, I heard we obliterated. Donald Trump said we obliterated their nuclear weapons and put them back in the Stone Age, that 100 years would go by. We solved it so that we wouldn't have to do this. Lied. Are you Chinese is the question on the board. Am I Chinese? No. Do I look Chinese? I'm too tall to be Chinese. I used to live in Japan, and boy, I was too tall to live in Japan. Let me tell you that much. Right now, I was too tall. But you know what? I know what you mean. Am I Chinese? Like, am I speaking on behalf of the Chinese government? And it's so stupid to look at the world like that, as if it's some kind of zero-sum game. Of course, that's not how the world works. We live on an abundant planet, and if we all have enough, like they taught you in kindergarten, if we all share with each other and make it work, we can all eat. We can all have enough. Now, Donald Trump and his mercantilist 18th century ideas, because he's an old stupid man and we've all forgotten what mercantilism is, but you could still look it up if you'd like and just ask ChatGPT, is Donald Trump a mercantilist? And you'll find out, yes, he is. He thinks that the world is a zero-sum game, winners and losers. America wins by conquering other countries and impoverishing them and enslaving their people, controlling resources so that nobody else can have them, starving his enemies out, perceived enemies, because again, we're all involved in the human experience. We don't actually have enemies. We have manufactured enemies. We invent these things. Why? So that oligarchs can continue to make money and stupid old men like Donald Trump can continue to get their dicks hard into their 80s, which, I doubt is actually happening, but like spiritually, I think this is what gets him up in the morning, if you know what I mean. I don't think he's getting that sweet morning wood like he used to, Americans are fast asleep. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Where's my stylophone? You get a stylophone for that. Thank you for the $20 donation. I appreciate you very, very much for doing that. We need to support independent media or we won't have it anymore. Cancel your CNN subscription. Cancel your HBO. Cancel your Paramount. I'm going to have to cancel Paramount. I'm going to wait until the end of Star Trek season. I'm going to have to end. But then I'm going to have to steal my Star Trek. I'm going to have to steal my Star Trek is what's going to have to happen. These idiots, I'm just going to have to steal Star Trek. That's all there is to it. I got to cancel my Prime membership. I got to cancel. I think that's it. I don't really have that many memberships because I don't like giving assholes money. Sometimes we have to, but I'm trying not to. And my book is going to be published on Kindle. Like, what am I supposed to do? Iranian people are celebrating. That old chestnut. I love it when people say that. The Venezuelans are celebrating too, right? And the Kuwaitis celebrated too. And everybody celebrates when we're bombing them. It's amazing how American media will always spin that we bomb countries and they celebrate. It's amazing. Don't you worry your little head. Stupid assholes like One Cup, Two Bears. Look, One Cup, Two Bears, 365. You are stupid if you think that the Iranian people are celebrating. Maybe there's some celebrating, but you know what? If they took out our president, there'd probably be some people celebrating too. Would you be okay with it? Would you be okay with some foreign dictators coming over here and bombing our president after stalking him for months and promising that he wasn't going to do anything like that? Would that make sense? The Iranians are celebrating. The Iranians are celebrating. We bomb them and they celebrate. Look at that. We bombed a school and killed 50 children. We killed 50 little kids and provoked an attack so that we could go to war. That's what happened. They're not cheering and celebrating as their little babies are dead. They're not cheering as they watch their children die. Sorry. Look at that. Donald Trump is standing in front of the Thomas Jefferson statue. Look at, he's really taking it all in. Take off your hat, Donnie. Show some respect. There he is looking at Thomas Jefferson. For anybody who doesn't know, Thomas Jefferson, well, he's kind of like our Mickey Mouse, Thomas Jefferson. No one really knows what he stands for anymore except weirdos like me who read too much. But, he was like an old slaveholder. Mickey Mouse, he was fashioned after the minstrel shows. Like, the image of Mickey Mouse is actually quite racist, but we're not going to get into Mickey Mouse. Thomas Jefferson, kind of like the same thing, but Mickey Mouse becomes a symbol of America, a symbol of the Disney Corporation, and Thomas Jefferson becomes a symbol of the American corporation, whatever we are now, an illegitimate, illiberal republic. What are we these days? I think we're a fascist dictatorship, authoritarian rule, but, we've got Thomas Jefferson. There's Donald Trump walking up to the statue. Oh, yes. I always loved TJ. He did a lot of great work. This is a guy, Donald Trump, standing in front of Thomas Jefferson's statue is fucking laughable. This is a guy who thinks that the Declaration of Independence was a product of the Civil War. He said that. Donald Trump thinks that the Declaration of Independence was written because of the Civil War by Thomas Jefferson. who died famously fourscore and 7 years ago. fourscore and 7 years before that. No, it wasn't that long. I mean, he died after he wrote the Declaration of Independence, but it was written 7 years before the, the Civil War. So Donald Trump doesn't know who Thomas Jefferson is, but he's got a new statue. It's going to go with Donald Trump's beautiful statue. Donald Trump's building an Arc de Triomphe in Washington, D.C. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be covered in gold. It'll be just like the one in Paris, France, the Arc de Triomphe, memorializing, I don't know, I think it was a Napoleon War. It's memorializing a war, the Arc de Triomphe. The French won a war. They put a fucking arch up to make it look cool. I don't know. I thought it was cool for a while. Now it's like more, it's just for Tom Cruise to ride his motorcycle around in movies. That's basically what it's there for now. I wonder what the Arc de Trump will be used for. A pissin' pole? Would you go piss on it? I'd go piss on it. I'd go piss on that pole. I'd go piss on that thing. Napoleon's victory, right? It's Napoleon's victory, but over. I don't remember why the Arc de Triomphe. It was the triumph of Napoleon, right? It was for the nappy-headed Napoleon. He died 1826. Thank you for that. So, about 40 years, 38 years or so before the Civil War ended. So, Donald Trump thinking that the Declaration of Independence written in 1776 was a Declaration of Independence resulting from the Civil War. It was the Revolutionary War, for anybody who's counting. That's all. The Arc de Triomphe is an iconic 50-meter tall neoclassical monument in Paris, commissioned by Napoleon 1806 to honor the French army. Yeah, that's it. You got it. Nailed it. And now what do we got? We got the Arc of Trump coming. Are you proud? We're going to have one. We're going to have an arc just like them because that's what because we want our leaders to be more like Napoleon. Fuck. That's what we want. We want more Napoleons in the world because that worked out so well for us when we had people like Napoleon running around. Great idea. We love dictators in America. Loving that dictators stuff, that dictator vibe. That's what we're into, man. We're into that shit. Don't get it twisted.
U.S. forces turning Iran's own drone playbook against them, deploying Iranian-inspired kamikaze drones for the first time in combat.
Kamikaze drones? That sounds racist. Kamikaze drones? Oh, come on, man. Why would you you ever notice they name all of our shit after all the Indians we killed? That's by design. We name all of our military shit off of all the Indians we killed to remind us of, hey, we triumphed over all those Indians. We murdered 90% of the Native American population, and we name our weapons of war after those folks to remind everybody what's going to happen to them if they get out of line. That's why the Apache helicopter and the Tomahawk missiles, and there's so many more examples, the Black Hawk helicopters. We love naming weapons of war after populations that we murdered. And, kamikaze is a great example of this. Hey, FAFO, right? We might drop a nuclear weapon on you like we did to those Japanese. So we're calling them the kamikaze missiles. We always do this. We name our missiles and bombs and things like that very frequently off of people that we conquered. Kamikaze missile. A kamikaze drone. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know there was a kamikaze drone. I mean, I can imagine what it is, right? It's a drone with some kind of artillery, some kind of payload that smashes into things and explodes with no hope of coming back, right? Yeah, they flew. Yeah, kamikaze is from Japan when they flew Japan. Yeah, and then we bombed them with nuclear weapons. Don't worry, I know what a kamikaze. I lived in Japan. For like a year, I lived in Japan. I know exactly what a kamikaze is. Yeah. Nihongo wa wakarimasu ka? Do you speak Japanese? I speak a little Japanese. I was never very good, but my Japanese got pretty good when I was living over there. It was pretty good. I've been to Japan probably 12 times, but one time I stayed for a year, so. Kamikazes. We're naming our missiles after the people we kill. That's what we do.
It was all part of rare daytime strike taking down.
I'm sure we're gonna call some missile in the future the Ayatollah. We're gonna call our Ayatollah missiles. This is how we do. This is by design. Look it up, guys. You guys, we love naming our weapons of war after people that we've obliterated. Obliterated, there's that word again, but actually obliterated, not like Trump obliterated, like we obliterated it. Donald Trump's like that guy who's like, I smashed that pussy. And the woman's like, were you in? I swear to God, I went in there and I obliterated that pussy. And the ladies over here like, no, I don't think you did. I trust me, for 100 years, she's not going to be able to walk. 100 years, I broke that back. She's going to be in a wheelchair. We love wheelchair folk. We love wheelchairs.
On senior leaders in Tehran, including its supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane, joins us now.
Classy. Wow. Are you looking for class, Denzel Washington? You support Donald Trump and you're looking for class? Class has left the chat. Donald Trump drops F-bombs on the news very, very frequently. He made a movie. He took a bribe from the Ellison family in order to make his wife famous in this ridiculous. I watched it, by the way. I watched that piece of propaganda. Melania, a new film. Just a touch right here. The whole movie is this. Just a touch. Can I have sharper on my dress? Just a touch right here. This is the whole movie. Her berating her staff about like small, insignificant details on her weird wardrobe choice, her fucking Hamburglar dress that she wore to the inauguration. Class, you want to talk about class? Donald Trump paid porn star prostitutes at his golf course while Melania, just a touch, was raising his infant child Barron. Class has left the chat. I'm sorry. America, sorry. You're not classy anymore. America doesn't deserve class. America deserves a rough-handed backhand to the face for what we've done. We have disgraced ourselves. We've defiled ourselves. We've elected this chomo as a president knowingly. Now, you could say, well, there's always been chomos and liars as a presidency. Not knowingly. Like, we never had one get on the Howard Stern show and admitting to wanting to bang his own daughter, or that he wouldn't want to be seen with a 12-year-old, but 13 was okay. Like, we never had that. We never had a president who was elected after he admitted to breaking into teenagers' dressing rooms in order to see their beautiful bodies naked. Like, this is something that is new. You could say that, yeah, we've always had asshole presidents and liar presidents and chomo presidents and philandering presidents and cheaters and killers and liars and war crime presidents. But this one's different because everybody knew before they elected him. Like, I would say Nixon would be a great example, like some kind of foil, some kind of metaphor, analog, something. But like, we had to find out about Nixon later. Johnson, same thing. We had to find out about all that shit later. You knew before you elected Donald J. Trump. And therefore, America, you have defiled yourself. You do not deserve class. You do not deserve respect. You deserve nothing but sadness, really, and rebellion. Join the rebellion.
Thank you for joining us. We've seen the videos from CENTCOM of this. The first 24 hours, it was a bold target package in what appears to be flawless execution. Walk me through what we've witnessed and where we're headed.
Yeah, certainly. Well, let's start offensively. Over 2,000 airstrikes were conducted in the last 24 hours. That's really quite remarkable. This combination of the IDF.
It is remarkable. It's almost like we're starting a war with someone who didn't see it coming.
And Central Command's capabilities. And certainly we've seen some of the effects of that.
Yeah.
Obviously we can't see, but the leadership targets themselves has been nothing short of remarkable. And Ali.
All right, so let me just catch everybody up. We claimed that we weren't going to use any of this stuff. We just wanted to talk. Let's just talk. And then we brought our Tomahawk missiles, famously after the Native Americans we slaughtered, and we bombed them. And while we were pretending like we were talking and keeping them busy, giving them hope, we were stalking their leaders so that we can murder them. The CIA has already come out with a statement saying that they were stalking the Ayatollah Khamenei for 3 months at least. his movements, tracking where he would be, watching him go back and forth, getting his routine. And then we murdered him. That's what murderers do. If you were going to murder somebody, your first thing that you would do was track their movements so you would know where they would be and you could lay in wait. That's what we did. We watched with our eyes in the skies, and then we murdered. All the time, the whole time we smiled. Oh, we're really feeling very confident about this round of negotiations, aren't we? Yes, oh, diplomacy is fantastic. We're America. We don't do preemptive strikes. But meanwhile, we were planning on this murder this whole time. So this whole bullshit about, they were preemptively gonna strike us. They were gonna preemptively strike. We read it in the tea. The tea leaves told us. All bullshit. We were stalking them for months. We were leading them on, and then we murdered them. That's it. Sorry. This is a face only a mother can love. My mom's been dead for a while, my friend, so nobody loves me. Poor me.
Larijani, who is the secretary to the Supreme National Security Council, think of our National Security Council. That's the position he holds. That's a dual position in the United States, National Security Advisor and Director of National Security Council.
First of all, makers of weapons. Who signs the contracts? Jesus, makers of weapons. It's funny, they all have the same ideas. The makers of weapons. Who pays for the making of those weapons? So weird that we keep naming all these weapons of war after dead Indian tribes that we slaughtered. So strange. And now we're naming them after the Japanese. I guess we ran out of Indians we slaughtered, or ones that we can easily pronounce, because like Akashemon is not as easy to pronounce. I even have a hard time. Like the people who lived in my area were called the Achiemon. But it's hard to say. Achiemon. It's hard to say for an American, for an English speaker. But so we're not going to name after any missiles after the California tribes. They were hard to say, They were hard. But now we have kamikaze. We all love the kamikaze missiles, kamikaze drones that we've invented, right?
So Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, holds that position now. He was the heir apparent. He is in charge, according to the Israelis. And certainly he is going to be targeted for sure.
We're going to kill him too. They're already saying, like, Fox News. And now we're going to kill the guy who just became Ayatollah. And we'll kill that guy too. Who else we're going to kill?
Other leadership targets still that have not been touched. But the primary focus over the next 48 hours, as it was during the first 24 hours, are Iran's
Operation Epic Fury. I mean, you could tell Hegseth named that one, right? Operation Epic Fury. Up top, bro. Yeah. Epic Fury. I mean, this makes Desert Storm seem... This makes Desert Storm seem legitimate. I mean, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, at least that sound like America. We take shit seriously. We're the Americans. We take the solemn duty of killing people quite seriously. And when you put them in the ground, we're not going to laugh and do high fives. We take this shit seriously. Not anymore. Now we're calling our operation shit like Epic Fury. What the hell? This guy watched too many Stallone movies or something. Epic Fury. Epic Fury. Claude AI. Did Claude AI? Is he the one who named it? Did they? Do you think it was an AI named it? AI named the operation to kill the Ayatollah. Epic Fury.
Capability. We are hitting their ballistic missiles and certainly their drone storage sites and writ large. That will, in the next 48 hours, we'll likely touch 60-70% of that capability. So we will see every single day less Iranian capability for retaliation for all the obvious reasons. We want to minimize as much as possible casualties to the Israeli civilian.
There you go. Everyone's getting their war porn. Are you liking it? You liking all the missiles? You loving that shit, right? Man. Yeah. Give the foreskin. That's right. They love touching each other's foreskin over there at the MAGA. All the maggers love it, man. These dirty maggers, they love killing children. And that's what they did. They bombed a school in Iran, in Tehran, and then guess what? They bombed Qatar, right? Or they bombed Dubai. Like, what were the Iranians supposed to do? Can you blame them? We bombed a school full of kids. This is what we do. What do you think's going to happen next? Think we're going to go after Scheinbaum, Who are we going to go after? Carney? Like, this is a message to the world. If you don't like America, well, we're just going to kill you. The time for talking is over. We need to win. This is America first diplomacy. This is America first, boys. We got it. Nailed it. You guys happy? Man, this is so much better than like when I was a kid. We had Operation Desert Freedom and Operation Desert Storm. I remember the first time when we had the first Persian Gulf crisis, going to Iraq. We got to liberate the Kuwaitis, baby. We got to liberate those Kuwaitis. Forget about the fact that we have ties to Saudi Arabia that we can't explain. Kuwait, we need to liberate them. Those dirty Iraqis, we got to do something about them. Saddam Hussein, this aggression will not stand. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to go to Saddam Hussein and make sure we got him. A ding dang do. And you know, we did, but we had to watch it on TV with like the green tracers and like the black and white. These days, man, the video's amazing. You guys are going to feel so cool when you watch all the babies die. I already saw a guy who had his baby's hand in his hand, and he said, look what you Americans did. And he's holding the hand of his child. Just the hand. Like, it's just a hand. Like, it's a severed hand of a child, of his child, and saying, look what you Americans have done. You think that guy's going to forgive us? You think that dude's going to forgive America and cheer when we kill the next Ayatollah and the next Ayatollah and the next Ayatollah? Is that what's going to happen? All right, so Fox News is very excited. Cool, we're going to watch all of them. You're full of lies. Watch the news, especially not in Al Jazeera, CNN, etc. Dude, I'm watching the news every single day. This is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. There I am, Morning Sky, the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. Don't forget it. Keep it going. If you're not a rebel, you don't have to be a loner. If you're a rebel, make sure you contribute to the channel because we will not have independent news for any time in the future. The CNN, bought and sold. CBS, bought and sold. Paramount, bought and sold. Wait, how 2/3 of the news are now owned by maggers. What the fuck are we doing, man? It's over. It's over. The maggers won. Fascists won. We lost.
All right, thanks, General. Democratic Senator John Fetterman praising President Trump for doing, quote, what's right and necessary to produce real peace in the region. He sits on the home.
Oh, look at this, John Fetterman. Critical thinking is dead in America. It feels that way, but that's why I started this channel, because we just want you to ask it. I'm just asking you to question authority. It's step 1 of critical thinking, is to question authority. Always push back. With the greater confidence that something is spoken, the greater your incredulity needs to be. You have to push back. The more confident someone tells you something, the more you have to be like, is this true? And then look it up. We're living in the age of AI. You can look up, is this true? For now, you could still fact check and do it, because you're not going to be allowed to pretty soon, man. You won't be allowed to. It's coming to an end. Critical thinking might be dead, but you know what? We might be able to get there. How are you pro-capitalism and MAGA after Trump's overreach with Anthropic? Good question. Chris Hansen versus Predator. Chris Hansen versus Predator. I love your name. We're hunting predators. We are hunting. Trump's new name is Adolf Hitler. Perfect. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love your vibe. Love your vibe. Like and subscribe. Love the support. Share a short. Keep it going. What's the deal and how you feeling, everybody? Drop an emoji in the chat, especially if you're a rebel. I'd love to see you. Thank you so much. Oh, 8 Speaker Sargon of Akkad. Super fan. How you doing, buddy? I tried to play you the Star Trek anthem because I was talking about canceling my Paramount subscription earlier. Hate Speaker Sargon of Akkad says, as if the Empire would have allowed any other outcome than complete domination. That's true. Let me see if I can do it. I don't know. I'm trying. I never had a single lesson. I'm trying to play by ear the Imperial Death March from Star Wars. Yeah, what would we do? The Empire has spoken, man. This is the last dying grasps of the Roman Empire. We did the same. The Romans did the same shit. Started a bunch of fucking wars, enslaved a bunch of people, started doing weird shit with agriculture, started doing weird taxes on everything and tolls on everything. And guess what? The empire fell. And then for about 1,000 years in the Western world, we didn't publish anything. We lost the recipe for concrete and steel, and we called it the Dark Ages. Now, it wasn't really the Dark Ages because, of course, in the Middle East, the place we're bombing right now, they were flourishing. They had all sorts of cool shit going on. They had the new religion called the Quran. They had a new book come out. It was a famous book. They were poets and having their own thing. They weren't having a Dark Ages. We were having a Dark Ages over in the West. But anyway, dying empires, man. They don't go easy. They don't just poof. We get to see it. We get the front row, man. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. We get to have a front row ticket to watching the American century end and the American empire crumble. I always wonder what it looked like when the Persian Empire crumbled. I guess now I get to see what it looks like when our empire crumbles. Aren't you excited? Anyway, it's going to look a lot like this. There's Fox and Friends and John Fetterman. He is everybody's favorite senator, not mine. My favorite Republican is John Kennedy. Now, what you gotta do is make sure the snake comes out of the river and you put it in the grass. Make sure that head don't come around, he bite you. But this guy's John Fetterman. He's got a mental health issue, but don't hold that against him. He is gone full magger, and he is now, he's in, man. He's in on Fox and Friends. They love him over there. Operation Epic Fury. How do you feel, John?
Getting up this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you.
So, Senator, there are some on your side of that, and to be frank, some of Republicans that don't agree with this action as well. But you support the president's action here. Why?
Because I've got his dick too far in my butt to back out now.
Well, because that was always the right thing. I mean, you can just put out, tweets.
It's always been the right thing to bomb countries preemptively, says John Fetterman. Understood, sir.
And statements, to support peace, but to actually create real peace, you have to do these kinds of actions, just like happened. Just like last year too, when they to destroy their nuclear facilities. Sometimes peace is possible after these kinds of steps, and that's why I support those things. And I listened to my colleague from South Carolina earlier, and I even had the option, to talk to him before the State of the Union speech, and I encouraged it as well. And so I fully support these kinds of things, and I'm proud to stand with our military and Israel through this, and that's what's the right thing.
Yeah, you posted on X. You said Operation Epic Fury. President Trump has been willing to do what's right and necessary.
This is so important. Chris Hansen versus Predator. It's going to be awesome when a Democrat gets into power too stupid to consider what happens when the mass surveillance toolkit Trump wants into the opposition hands. We've already seen this happen. Democrats are useless. Democrats are spineless bastards. They don't do shit. Look at what Barack Obama, the most depressing, just disappointing president in my lifetime, Barack Obama, good old Barry, what did he do? He extended the Patriot Act, extended the War Powers Act, didn't even try to get rid of Citizens United, didn't do anything about money in politics, did nothing. Oh, wait, he did spy on American citizens, murder American citizens overseas with drone strikes. He used drones to just murder civilians overseas. He was also deporter in chief, extended our concentration camp system in America and deported more people. Okay, he did DACA, he did some good stuff, but so did Hitler. He built the Autobahn and blah 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 blah. But don't think the Democrats are going to do what are the Democrats going to do? Spy on us? We're already getting spied on. The Democrats are going to get into power. It's going to be Snoozeville. It's going to be nothing because their bosses are the same bosses, the rich. Who do you think is going to take over? This is the problem with Democrats. They think that Trump bad, a new Democrat, let's have a different king. I don't want any kings. This is the whole problem with American politics. I don't want any kings. No kings. Take all the power away from the president. All of it. Just grind it all back to the Constitution. Let's do that. Take it all back. No more of this War Powers Act and bullshit. If you can't get it through Congress, it doesn't happen. This is bullshit. My representatives are worth nothing? Then what the fuck are we voting for? What am I voting for? If the president has all this power, and why would I care about the Democrats when their whole thing is like, we just want a different person with a bunch of power? It's the same shit. It's the same shit over and over and over again because the Democrats are a bunch of spineless losers. And we have who said before, no critical thinking. Exactly. No critical thinking. I'm not accusing you, but no critical thinking is one of the problems. All these no kings protests. They're like, no kings, except they don't say no kings. They just want to get rid of Donald Trump. Trump bad. And I'm over here saying president bad. I mean, Donald Trump's particularly bad, sure. But if we're not going to use this opportunity to be like, well, maybe we shouldn't have presidents anymore, or take them down so many notches that they become fairly insignificant, almost insignificant. We do not need a king. The might of our nation is not determined by the strength of our one true leader. The might of our nation is the will of our people. Our diversity and our strength, our ability to work together, our ingenuity, our creativity, and yes, our love for one another. That's what makes us strong. That's how we got World War II to work. Americans got together, started building all sorts of crazy shit together, a lot of it for free, and we went over and we killed a bunch of people over on the other side of the world. Anyway.
To produce real peace in the region. God bless the United States, our great military, and Israel. You have others like Thomas Massey who wrote this. Acts of war unauthorized by Congress. The U.S. is attacking Iran, according to the AP. What is your response to Massey and to your colleagues who
Thomas Massey's a Republican.
don't agree with this?
Doesn't this prove that Republican and Democrat means nothing? This is Fox News talking to a Democrat, quoting a Republican, asking the Democrat to talk shit on the Republican from Kentucky, a Pennsylvania Democrat. They're asking him right now to talk shit on a Kentucky Republican. What world is this?
Well, that's bizarre. You know, I'd like to remind my colleague over in the House that Iran massacred 30,000 of their own people right now. This war is not about the Iranian people. It's about this poisonous regime. And that's why I'm proud to stand with our military. I'm proud to stand with Israel, too. I might be a Democrat, but in this specific case, the president is absolutely correct to do these kinds of actions.
There you go. John Fetterman stands with Israel, everybody. Bros defining peace as meaning we always win. No, and always win forever. I think winning means something different to me than it does to you. Oh, no. Sorry. I was stuck in the... Thank you so much for that donation. Bros defining... I think my definition of peace is not the same as yours, and my definition of winning is not the same as yours. Winning to me is living in harmony with one another, being at peace at home and abroad. Now, World War II was a mess, and I know I just referenced it because I wanted to show that there was this big thing that was accomplished. But I guess you could use anything. We could say the interstate highway system or the Golden Gate Bridge or all sorts of other things. But people tend to use the World War II as this example in history where Americans got together, they sacrificed. People were like, "No, we're not going to use any oil. The boys need it. We're not going to eat any beans because the boys need it. Send it over there for our boys." You know, that kind of shit. They believed in this idea of altruism for the greater good. Now, what that greater good was manipulated to be and what the greater good was then, exploited. The people were exploited, of course, but that's neither here nor there. That wasn't the point I was trying to make, but thank you for pointing me out. I do appreciate anyone pushing back. Thank you so much. Massey is a jerk ass wipe. Wow, this guy must be a Democrat. You a Democrat, Abe Bringering? Abe Bringering must be a Democrat. I imagine you're a Democrat or a MAGA cultist, if you hate Massey. A mass surveillance aspect of it is keynote because the crowd who profess that quote about freedom or security time and again cheer for mass surveillance. The real problem is when government targets businesses. I mean, is that the real problem? I mean, I don't know if that's the real problem, but I agree with the surveillance state. We're living in a surveillance state. People call me crazy because I don't acquiesce at the airport when it comes to those scanners. I don't walk through them. I'm like, I don't want the scanners. Come pat me down. Let's get to know each other. Let's get to know her. Pat me down. That's my right not to go through that scanner. I'm not going to do it. I don't want you to take naked pictures of me. They're too spicy. I don't want you to. I don't want to succumb. I want you, if you are going to violate my freedoms, I want it to be a little tough on you. I don't let them take a picture of me when I get into the airport. I don't let them. It's my right. I don't want you to take a picture. Well, all you have to do is get down here because I'm really tall. I'm 6'5". You can't tell on the internet. And I got to get down here because the camera's down here for normal people. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not bending my knees for you. I'm not taking the picture. And they go, okay, sir. It doesn't take that much, but everyone just nods and goes along with everything, and we get to be a surveillance state where now we've got cameras. They're building a tower near my house. Well, not that close, but really close. And it's they're saying it's for surveilling the ocean to make sure illegals aren't coming in. Of course, it's all bullshit. This thing's got super scope. It can see shit from all over. It's on this hill in San Clemente. It could see all of Orange County. Wonder why they would do that. It's so weird. Surveillance. Terrestrial surveillance. Wonder why they would do that.
OpenAI has come to terms on a deal with the Pentagon. The agreement calls for OpenAI to provide its intelligence technologies for the Defense Department's classified systems. Friday's announcements from the maker of ChatGPT came hours after the president told federal agents to stop using AI capabilities from rival company Anthropic. Officials with the San Francisco company say it has come up with a method that will make sure its technologies will not be applied for domestic surveillance in the U.S.
At the least. No, we're not going to use it for surveillance in the U.S. OpenAI is completely not for surveilling anyone in the U.S. Trust us. Wink, 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 wink. Don't forget, the Patriot Act was supposed to be. Don't you remember the Patriot Act? It's my bugaboo, man. I hate it. I hate the fact that we did it. 9/11 happened. Take your shoes off at the airports. Make sure we take naked pictures of you every day at the airport. And also, we're going to spy on you and listen to your phone calls. What? What? I didn't sign up for that. The fuck? What do you mean? And we're going to get into a war that's going to last 20 years in Afghanistan. Huh? We're going to call it the forever war. We're going to call it the eternal struggle against terrorism, a never-ending struggle. Or, shorthand, a jihad. That's what the word jihad means. It means struggle. Or Mein Kampf. It could just be Mein Kampf, my struggle. It's an eternal struggle against terrorism. If war is peace, then why don't we help Ukraine? Well, Master Zizek, in a roundabout way, we are helping Ukraine because the oil that was intended for Russia and the Russian war machines will no longer be available to them except the stuff that they make at home. Now, of course, Russia has plenty they can make at home and they do export, but now Russia's going to have to make some really hard decisions about how they're going to either make their money selling their oil abroad, which has already been tough because of the sanctions, the Ukrainian sanctions, or they got to stop their war machines, or they're going to have to go to war with America, which, unlikely, or stop selling abroad. They could stop selling their oil so they can use it for themselves. It's going to be hard. They got a hard decision now because Iran sold them oil. They sold China oil. They were buds. Iran, Russia, China, they were all buds. As much as buddy as those types of guys can get, they were buds. They liked each other. No clash of civilization between the Russians and the Iranians for some reason. It's kind of like how we don't have a clash of civilizations with the Saudis for some reason. For some reason, so many maggers hate Muslims, right? I meet them all the time. You maggers, you all hate Muslims for some reason. But when you do, how come you don't hate the Saudi Arabians? So weird, you don't hate them. And Russians say the same shit. Oh, those Islam, oh, they're crazy. That's what they said about the Chechens. They said the Islamic Republic in Chechnya, they hated them. They hate them. Islam, man, they're the worst. Got to kill them. Not when it came to Iran. I wonder why. Well, how come Russia was so buddy-buddy with Iran, although very, very Muslim, and we're so buddy-buddy with Saudi Arabia, very, very Muslim, but us, the Americans, and the Russians both say they hate Islam? It's almost as if the hatred of Islam and all the propaganda you hear every day about how Islam is a death cult and they're so evil, it's all bullshit. It's almost like it's all bullshit. It's just that we use their religion in order to gin up the base to hate brown people overseas who won't play ball with us, who won't demand their people starve so that we can take the money from the oil and other resources under their feet. It's almost like that's how it is. I bet you love emphasizing the E and the R. Like when I talk about maggers. Yeah, I love maggers. This channel's for maggers. You can't get enough of them.
The conflict expanded into a new front just hours ago as Israel and the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah exchanged fire, shattering a truce that had been in place for about a year.
It turns out Donald Trump was, it turns out he was bored of peace. I think he was just bored of peace. He was just bored. He hates peace, hates children, hates peace. Almost like there's a massive difference. Hey, Speaker Sargon says, almost like there's a massive difference between people who grew up poor and backwards and people versus rich and relatively progressive. Almost as if. That's almost as if that's true. Yes, absolutely. People who grow up poor and backwards versus rich and relatively progressive. I don't know what you mean by rich and progressive. Most rich people I know are very protective of their hoard of wealth that they inherited from their parents. But I mean, I grew up working class, so I don't know. I don't know what it's like growing up rich. I've known rich people, but I ain't never been one. So I don't know what you mean by progressive. Mostly poor people are, well, it depends. Poor people, you'd be surprised. Poor people, they have to really think about their own interests more than the rich. Because, you know, the rich, if you tax them 3% more, what difference does it make? But if you tax a poor person 3% more, it makes a big difference. Anyway, thanks. I appreciate that. It's almost as if we're using brown people overseas in order to use them to create more. Not the theremin. It's not a theremin. It's a stylophone. I wish I had a theremin. Theremins are cool. Thank you so much. You don't like my cool thing? Member of the month. Let's see. Member for 5 months. Thank you so much. If you grow up in a hick town, that's on you to grow and change. Stop using your family and circumstances to excuses to be assholes. It's funny. I don't know. If you grow up in a hick town, it could be small town, small mind situation. I mean, it's hard to judge people based on their, because we are so much products of our environments, you know? It's almost like society should be looking out for each other, right? Shouldn't we be looking out for each other? If there's people growing up in hick towns, shouldn't we make sure that they have access to education? We try to do that basically by fleecing California and New York. We take all their money and give it to places like Missouri so that they can have schools and interstate highway systems and indoor plumbing. You know, like the South, they didn't even have indoor plumbing until they started taking money from the other states and getting them to build shit, you know? So I feel like we should be helping each other. I mean, that would make sense, right? Cobbling together some kind of economic situation that makes sense would make sense, I think. Or we could just bomb Iran and steal their oil. We could do that.
Hezbollah says it was acting to avenge the death of Iran's supreme leader, and Israel responding in moves that threaten to expand the deadly conflict and destabilize the region as a whole. Video this morning shows explosions and smoke in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. Meanwhile, fire and thick black smoke were seen rising earlier near the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait as the State Department urges U.S. citizens to shelter in place there. Over the weekend, 3 U.S. service members were killed in action in Kuwait, the first Americans to die in the war with Iran.
Why the hell? I mean, it's so messed up. Like, we're bombing Lebanon as well. Like, no one remembers that we're bombing Lebanon, are they? It's just like, geez, I practically forgot that we were bombing Lebanon. Man, I have a good friend. He's Lebanese. I should call him, see if his family's okay. I hope they're not in Beirut.
Iran, although President Trump acknowledged there, quote, likely will be more. Iran's retaliation to Operation Epic Fury has been expansive, targeting many of its Middle East neighbors. As the country's top national security leader said late last night, Tehran, quote, will not negotiate with the United States. President Trump, meanwhile, told The Atlantic he's open to speaking to Iran's new leadership without specifying whom those talks would be with. He also told the New York Times the attack could last 4 or 5 weeks, but he did.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Woke 999. I've lived in hick towns. I lived all over the world, so... But I lived in Virginia, in a small town of Virginia, and it was somehow cosmopolitan because a lot of people visited that place. But like the townies were pretty ignorant. Not everybody, of course, but there was like this strata. You could see like the old money, the new money, the people who came here, the people who've been here, the people who've been born here, and they divide themselves up so stupidly. It really is sad. It really is sad. And people, again, are voting against their own interests, doing stupid things. It's tragic what happens in small town America. And you know what's weird is that in a lot of those areas, crime is higher per capita than what's happening in the bigger cities. Not always, but a lot of the time. So, and it's because of poverty. You're absolutely right. Poverty and ignorance. Weren't those the two? Is it poverty and ignorance? The two little kids that the Ghost of Christmas Present had with him. Didn't he have poverty and ignorance? I think that's what the kids' names were, weren't they? In the Scrooge? I think it was poverty and ignorance. But you know what? Maggers never watched that. They've never seen Scrooge. They've never seen Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. They never heard of Charles Dickens because he wrote about, Dickensian. He wrote about Dickensian things. I mean, he practically invented the Dickensian narrative about poor people and ignorant people. What possible beef could Americans have with the Saudis who speak 3 languages? And an AFG who isn't literate in his own language. Well, supposedly we've got beef with everybody who's Islamic, everyone who's Muslim, right? I thought being Muslim was the problem. That's what I hear every day, that Muslims, they don't respect life. They don't respect these blah, 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 blah. All sorts of reasons that people try to this cock and bull story about how people of Islam are the problem. And meanwhile, Saudi Arabia isn't a problem. We love them. We go to bat for them. We go to war for them. We love them. We were good friends with Saudi Arabia, even though most of the people involved in 9/11 allegedly were Saudis.
Did not lay out a clear plan for how power might be transferred to a new government.
Allegedly.
ABC Jonathan Karl says the president told him the U.S. had identified possible candidates to take over Iran, but they too were killed in the initial attack. Quote,
look at that. We stalked them for months, and what happened? You're a breath of fresh. I'm a breath of fresh air. You're a breath of fresh air. Fractalized. Become a channel member. Become a Sky City rebel. Can we get a rebel yell in the chat, please? Can we please get a rebel yell in the chat? I'm a loner, Dottie. You don't have to be a loner, but you do have to be a rebel. A rebel.
it's not going to be anybody that we were thinking because they're all dead. Second or third place is dead.
Jonathan Lemire, give us your latest reporting from the White House.
Second and third place dead. You subscribe. Thank you, Fractalize.
Someone who, President Trump, of course, in 2016, we know, vowed to end the forever wars of Iraq and Afghanistan, vowed he would not be entangled in a new Middle Eastern conflict. That no longer the case. What we're seeing here is...
Wait a second. Iranians are Persian. They had their own flags, which was changed when Muslim extremists took over. You mean during this thing called the revolution? They had a revolution. They had a civil war in 1979. I live around a lot of people who some of them call themselves Persian, some of them call themselves Iranian, depending on when they came to this country. They've got very strict rules about who they call Persian and who they call Iranian. It's a whole thing in that community. I know a lot of Iranians and Persians, and you could say what you will about the extremists taking over, but at the end of the day, the Ayatollah's only promise against the Shah, the only one, and it wasn't really fulfilled, but the idea was that the oil money from beneath those people's feet would go to the people of the region instead of London and New York. Now, it didn't end up working out like that, but you could tell what is the problem in Iran, right? Just by that. Why they had a revolution and they had Islamic extremists take over is because of the promise to do the opposite of what the Shah was doing. He was ensuring that the money from their region, the wealth of that nation, was being extracted by colonial powers. And what we're doing instead, according to the Ayatollah, was to keep the money in Iran for the people, for their well-being. That's a strong promise. It's almost like drill, baby, drill. It's a similar thing, It made them feel Iranian again. It made them feel powerful again. And so they voted for him. They fought for him. They killed for him. It didn't end up working that way. But that's not the point. The point is the problem in Iran is that the oil does not go to the people who live there. Their resources are being extracted by powers outside that they have no control over. They can't vote for our president. They can't vote for the president, Putin. They can't vote for Xi Jinping. So they're screwed. And if they don't sell to the Americans, well, we're going to go kill them.
I mean, we heard from President Trump is a lack of messaging really to the nation. You know, he's recorded 2 videos that were put out on Truth Social, but has yet to do an address, perhaps from the Oval Office, as were customary from presidents at a time of war. He has yet to field a single question in a news conference. He has, though, done a series of quick phone calls with reporters, although noting, as Mika was starting to there, that messaging seemingly changing each and every time in terms of the length of this mission, some of the objectives of the mission, who might be next. And in the call with Jonathan Carter.
Who's next? I don't know. It might be anybody. We don't know because do whatever Benjamin Netanyahu tells me. I love Benjamin Netanyahu. He's all man, and I love women. Trust me, folks. I love women. I love women. But Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, I call him Bibi. He's so beautiful. He got out of the shower after golf, and I watched his slong. He reminded me of Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer has such a large slong, and it was so nice watching it. Oh, my God.
It seems like they had identified possible leaders, but then, whoops, killed them too. So that, I think, is unnerving some here at home who aren't sure how long this war will last, what its objectives
Thanks,
might be,
Master.
and how many more Americans will be killed. We know 3 already have. The president in his message yesterday sort of saying that's the way it is in terms of the cost of conflict.
Oh, yeah. The Shah of Iran was our boy, basically. He was our boy, and they didn't want our boy being in charge of Iran. That's why the Shah was ousted. It's a pretty easy sell, right? Hey, the CIA controls the Shah. He makes sure all of our money and all our natural resources go to USA and England. We don't like that shit. Should we kill him? Like, it's an easy sell, isn't it? Like, you could see how that would be attractive. And, by the way, they bring out the Ayatollah, and they're like, hey, this Ayatollah, he's really religious, and he's backing us up. I mean, it's classic Machiavellian shit. Oh, yeah, we got the religion. I mean, we usually clutch onto the Bible and the flag, right? We hold the flag, like we hump the flag like Donald Trump does, hold the Bible and the flag, we hump it. That's what our guy does. Their guy, they got another guy. That guy is the Ayatollah, and he's like... Ayatollah Khamenei was practically illiterate, but his whole thing was... I'm signing off. Let's kill the Shah because we need to make sure that the wealth of our nation stays inside of our country. We're going to have Sharia law. We're going to make Iran great again. That was the sell. That was it. And they fell for it. But the problem was the fucking oil was going to London and New York instead of them. That was the problem. And yeah, it was the CIA. Of course it was the CIA. Who the fuck do you think does this shit?
Suggesting there will be more. We've seen footage this morning of a fighter jet downed in Kuwait, though the pilot seems to have escaped. And Richard Haas, I mean, I'm talking to people in the White House who are certainly pleased with the military objectives so far. And Joe's right at the top of the show. Venezuela is the driving force behind all of this. That was such a success. It has inspired President Trump to believe he can do the same here. There's some who already think Cuba could be next. So the military objectives are strong, but Iran's retaliation has also been widespread despite the decapitation strike. So talk to us about what you've seen in this first day or two in terms of Iran's ability to respond despite the damage inflicted, but also the sort of lack of messaging from the president to make the case to Americans why this conflict is happening, why it's in their interest.
Well, Jonathan, if a word comes to mind for me to describe what's going on now, it's undisciplined. As disciplined as the United States has been on the military side of this war, we have been undisciplined on the foreign policy and political side. We've yet to make the...
Have we been disciplined about the military side of this? I don't think so. I don't think we've been very disciplined about the military side of anything. We're willy-nilly bombing civilians off the coast of Venezuela. That ain't fucking discipline. You know what I'm saying? We are murdering civilians. You could say what you will. You could claim that they are drug dealers or whatever you want to say, but that which can be presented without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. And since you presented zero evidence that they are drug dealers, as far as we know, they are simply non-military targets. That's the only thing we know about those boats off the coast of Venezuela. And then the oil tankers off the coast of Venezuela that we hijacked as pirates of the Caribbean. Yarg! What's disciplined about this? Disciplined? How dare you call the American military disciplined? We don't even call ourselves the Secretary of Defense anymore. We call him the Secretary of War. What could go wrong? Boo! The peace president signed off on changing the name of the Secretary of Defense to the Secretary of War, and illegally, by the way. Of course it's illegal because that would take an act of Congress, but he didn't get congressional approval. He just changed it because he's the king now. That's the thing. As soon as Donald Trump dies or whatever happens to him happens, we're going back to defense, Secretary of Defense, Department of Defense. It won't be called Department of War. That's ludicrous. You can't say that you are in this for peace if your fucking department is called the Department of War. You can't say we're building up the military for defense if the department is called the Department of War. That's why we changed it to the Department of Defense, so that we don't look like a bunch of assholes walking around looking to fight. We don't want to look like we're looking for a fight. That's why we did that. We are Antifa, so already terrorists. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, I've been called a terrorist my whole life, so I'm not that worried. I mean, it's not my whole life. Since about, 2002, I think, or 2003, I've been considered a terrorist in this country. So, call me what you will. Call me a terrorist. I guess I'm a terrorist. That's what they call me. DS King of Kings says you're a terrorist because you're autistic and queer. What's new? Yeah, I guess you're a terrorist. Well, I was terrorist because because I believed in liberation. That became a terrorist in 2003. Anyone that was talking about liberation was a terrorist. And now that's no longer the case. But now anyone who's anti-fascist is a terrorist. Whoa! Arguments are a form of evidence. So that little you think makes you sound smart is actually parallelish. What do you mean? Arguments are a form of evidence. Arguments are a form of logical. Yeah, I mean, you could say call it evidence if you will, but it's like a logical argument will help you reach conclusions that we can hopefully agree on if we're subscribing to logic, which you gotta have someone you're talking with that's also logical, but factual claims are not the same. Show me an argument then that these are drug dealers on these boats. There's no evidence so far presented. They just say it. There's no evidence that the people on these boats are drug dealers. There's no evidence that the Iranians were planning a preemptive strike and that this is in response to that. There's no evidence of that. The evidence points to the fact that we were stalking, and this is their statement, that we were stalking the Ayatollah for up to 3 months. The spokespeople from the CIA are saying this. What the fuck are you talking about, preemptive strike, that we're preemptively striking in order to prevent their preemptive strike? That's bullshit. It's clearly bullshit. And if you're saying it's not, then present evidence. Just arguing, saying blind claims like, oh, well, they were drug dealers. That ain't evidence. Like and subscribe if you like critical thinking.
We have news crossing the wire right now.
Ooh, you hate America, huh? No, man, I love America. I love America. Can't you see the flag behind me? This flag is by a guy named Jasper Johns. You ever heard of Jasper Johns, famous American painter? That's who painted this flag. And anybody who Jasper Johns is? Did anyone study art history at all? All right, so no, I don't hate America. I love America. I want America to be great. I want America to be like America, a country of revolutionaries and rebels. I enjoy my First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth. I like all the amendments. I like all my rights. I don't like it when assholes like Donald Trump take them away from me. And if you support Donald Trump, you are anti-American. You hate America. If you love Donald Trump, you hate America because you hate our Constitution. And when Donald Trump took an oath to uphold that Constitution, he betrayed us when he abridged our rights over and over and over again, or abridged anybody's rights. That's the thing of it. Not just your rights, all of our rights. Any one of us. An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Donald Trump has been systematically shredding our Constitution. And if you are okay with that, then you are anti-American. Go live in Saudi Arabia. Go live in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Go live in Bukele-controlled El Salvador. Go live there. They love people like you who will lick their boots and pray to their God, pray to their one true God. Go for it. You hate America so much. I don't want America to be Israel's little bitch. That's how much I love America. How about that? I'm going to stay here and fight.
Now, in the ongoing debates over who should own media, this is something that Donald Trump wanted. A Trump-allied billionaire family, the Ellisons, who own Paramount overseeing CBS, now we're learning moments ago has won a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, including CNN. They're beating out Netflix, which had
Oh my God. They're just going to own everything.
all but tried to close this deal, but they have dropped out after Paramount raised its bid. This is a huge media story, from the Wall Street Journal to the Washington Post on the politics of it, to how you will watch Warner movies or HBO and who will own CNN. The Netflix CEO was at the White House today discussing their interest in closing their deal. They put up many billions, but they've been beat out. This is an outcome that Donald Trump and many MAGA allies view as favorable. It continues on the clashes over Colbert and CBS. The folks who own CBS now are winning and gearing up to take control of Warner Media Empire, including CNN. Back with us is someone who knows all about a free press, Eugene Robinson, the Pulitzer Prize-winning longtime Washington Post veteran. Gene.
It's like Goebbels, but it's a lot like, you know what else it's like? It's like Berlusconi in Italy. Does anybody remember Berlusconi in Italy? Berlusconi, he was a lot like Donald Trump. Like, if you really want a leader who went to jail, you really want someone, you don't have to go far back like Hitler. You can look at what Berlusconi did in Italy. He destroyed so much of what made Italy great by taking it over and fucking up all of their international relations, fucking up all of their rights within their state, fucking up all of their media, controlling all their media. Like, Berlusconi was nasty business, and they eventually threw him in jail. But man, it was like, and he did the same thing where he left office and then he came back and they elected him again. Oh my God. Oh, vey, man. Mamma mia, I should say. Mamma mia, why are we getting this Berlusconi in office again? It was, anyway, that's a spicy meatball. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, go to the Wikipedia page about Berlusconi and look at all of the references. Look at all the parallels between him and Donald Trump. It's remarkable. But that was the early 2000s, man. And we were never going to imagine Berlusconi with a giant military and 350 million people and a complicated social structure like the United States. And you could see what happens. The kind of charm of the murderous people like Pol Pot and Kim Jong-un and, these guys like Orban and Ceausescu, these really nasty folks that aren't like the Stalins and the Hitlers, like the ones that are just like the little petty dictators. Those are kind of fun to watch because you can see without, of course, they kill thousands and thousands, sometimes millions of people in their little countries, but you could see like how scary it could be if it ever happened here. But it could never happen here, right? It could never happen here. I used to say that. It could never happen in America because we have the Supreme Court, we have the checks and balances from Congress and Senate, we have all of these people that would have to be on board. But it turns out that you don't need that many people to be on board. You don't need that many people. You need about a little over 20%. To have this horrible dictatorship where millions die. And now we'll see a lot of people die. Not immediately here. So far, only 4 Americans have been killed in Iran, or in these last adventures. But don't worry, it's coming. We'll have more. We have a couple dead National Guarders. We have a couple dead 32 dead people who've been in ICE custody, 25 shootouts so far with federal agents. We have a few people that have been killed in the street by federal agents. But these things will increase over time, just like they did in Romania and in Cambodia and in Italy and in Germany and Hungary. We'll see the same shit happen. It's the same thing over and over again. The rise of fascism. You love the Constitution. You love paperwork. I love the land and the people, not the processes you seem to fixate on. Interesting point of view. You are striking a nerve there. You're absolutely right, because I tend to reject these systems. I think the government that governs least governs best. The Constitution isn't really about the paperwork, right? Constitution is the one true paperwork. It's the one document that guarantees our relationship with the government, the consent of the governed, and how we interact with those who govern us. We elect them. We have representation so that the power of the people is never usurped in a profound way. As long as we follow this document, follow the CBA, a collective bargaining agreement. It's a lot like a union agreement with a corporation. We wrote down all of these things. Here's how we're going to agree to this. And if you fuck it up, we're out. That's the Constitution. It's a collective bargaining agreement, and which guarantees how we're going to be treated by our government and how we're going to treat our government. That's why the Second Amendment's there, supposedly. That's why we have the Third and Fourth Amendments. That's why. Now, now the creep has gone on, and this is where we get in trouble. Now we've passed so many laws. We have so many laws on the books that every American is a 3-time felon when they walk out the door. We're just all not unconvicted felons in the eyes of our government. That's a problem, you see? And we've allowed it to go too far. Now, I love the Constitution because I think it gives me the right to say what I want and criticize my government. Right? I don't think that we should be in the United States of America. I think California should go its own way. I think California should just abandon ship while it can. Stop paying for all this tomfoolery. Stop paying for all of these international adventures. Stop paying for the military-industrial complex. I think we should say, no, it's over. We're not going to be part of this anymore. Because we got our own Constitution. Now, I think we need to have fewer laws and fewer regulations on citizens and more laws and more regulations on corporations. Well, that's a whole different subject. Do I love the Constitution? I love my rights. I love the Bill of Rights. I love the amendments, the enumerated rights. I love all that shit. I love the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. I love that shit. I love that John Lockean idea of total liberation. I think all animals, all individuals on planet Earth have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And if you are hindering that, then you are the villain of the story. I don't think that's too hard. You put anybody in a cage. I don't care if they're a chicken, a dog, a rat, a boy, a child, a grown-up, a Muslim, a black person, a white person. I don't care. I'm against cages. You see how that works? I'm for liberation. No, Scott, you have to explain to him. 5, I'll take it from here. Some rules are protecting people. That's good. Some rules protect government. That's bad. That's pretty good. Yeah. California is broken. Is California broken? Interesting. Come on. Actually, don't come. California is not broken. We're still the 5th richest country in the world. 4th, actually. We just became the 4th richest country in the world again. Is California broken? A lot of things about it do seem broken. You're absolutely right. But a lot of our brokenness is because we pay our unfair share in taxes to the United States government. We are funding all of the interstate highway system. We are funding all of the trains in America. We are funding all of the schools in America. If you have a kid in Missouri going to kindergarten, you can thank California for that. That's why we're allowed. Well, that's why we're allowed to have a country, is because we're fleecing California and New York and Oregon, but California. We've got 40 million people here who are paying just an unfair share to the rest of the country. It's not okay. And if we stopped, you would starve. And I think it's time. It's time to cut. It's time to wean America off of the California teat. It's about time.
I want to put this in plain English, then we can...
And Massachusetts. You say Massachusetts. Yeah. We call it Massifornia sometimes when you're talking about guns, because like the Massifornian gun regulations, like the California gun regulations, which are bullshit, are a lot like the Massachusetts gun regulations, which are bullshit. I'm allowed to disagree with my state. I don't think it's perfect, everybody. I'm not saying California is the place you ought to be. Don't pile up your truck and move to Beverly. Don't do it. Don't want you here. You're welcome if you come, if you make it, but Don't come if you think you're going to magify it. Okay, you're probably not. If you're a magger, you're probably not going to be okay here. Our maggers, they're we got our fair share of neo-Nazis and stuff here too. Don't get me wrong, but it's a whole different thing. Anyway, I don't really have time to sit here and talk about California. We got a lot in the news we're going to cover.
Courage. Now, today, a clear symbol came from the Israeli Prime Minister.
What do you think Sean Hannity thinks?
With President Trump. He was pictured with a book titled Allies at War, which described the Allies' victory over Nazi Germany.
Weird. Are you sure he's got, are you sure he's reading it from the perspective of the Allies? If you see a video of Benjamin Netanyahu reading a book about World War II, are you 100% sure he's identifying with the Allies? Because the Axis power is right there. And they almost did it. The Axis power almost won. Don't forget, everyone likes to pretend like the Nazis just tripped over their shoelaces or something. And, there was a lot of idiocy, but there was a lot of idiocy on our part too. But they almost took over the goddamn world. Do you think that Benjamin Netanyahu's reading the At War with the Allies? Because he thinks At War with the Allies sounds like from the position of the Axis powers, which were, Germany and Germany, Italy, and Austria, and the Japanese.
Joining us now, he is the host of Life, Liberty, and Levin, right here on the Fox News channel. I call him the Great One, Mark Levin. Mark, you were on the show last night. And we were talking about the difference between President Trump and some people on the left. And
some people.
President Trump has this very keen sense of history. You are a historian. And we talked about the last century of Mao in China and Stalin in Russia and Hitler in Germany and Mussolini and fascism and
Mussolini and fascism. I love it. Let's go. I'm getting interrupted, though. Hold on. This just in. You never looked into the... you looked into the claims that CA is essentially scamming the United States government via Social Security to make up its budget for shortfalls. If true, you just wasted 5 minutes glazing your failed state. Failed state! Listen, I know you're from Tennessee. And if you want to talk about failed states, methinks the lady doth protest too much. Look, California scamming the government via Social Security. What the fuck are you talking about? Social Security is for the citizens. I pay in, I take out. What do you mean we're scamming the American government? We pay in. That's it. We pay in. We pay the most into Social Security. We're the ones paying for Social Security. Give me a break. This is Elon without autism. Who knows? Everyone's on the spectrum, right? But Mung Finglewood, Elon Musk paid a lot of money for his gender-affirming care to look a lot like me. He got teeth implants. He got a jaw implant. He got hair plugs. My hairline is what it is, but he had to have it. He had to have all his hair put up on the top. That's gender-affirming care. He had to have a penis implant to look, well, I'm not going to get into it, but, it's a lot. It's a lot. So Donald Trump had to do a lot for that. Tennessee is not a shithole. I love Tennessee. I think Tennessee's beautiful. But look, it's not about states being shithole being versus other states. We shouldn't be looking at it like that. But everyone wants to talk shit about California, and they're from places like Tennessee, and it's like, bruh. Come on, do you really want me to go and tell you? People from Texas want to talk shit about California, Missouri. Are you serious? You really want to talk about California when you're from Missouri? Come on, I've been to these states. I've been to almost all the states, and I know about those states. I've stayed. I've slept over at every state, not just driven through. I shared the argument with you weeks ago. You must have been working too hard at your job to take 5 minutes and Google it. I'll tell you what, buddy boy, I'll do it right now. Is California scamming the Social Security system in order to make a bunch of money for California state? There's no evidence that the state of California is scamming the federal Social Security system to make a bunch of money. However, there have been allegations of widespread fraud and waste in various state-administered federal benefit programs, primarily involving the state's unemployment and Medicaid systems. The specific instances of individuals committing Social Security fraud. Medicaid, there's been reports and audits alleging that California has misused federal Medicaid funds or used money laundering tactics involving taxes on insurers to draw down more federal matching dollars, some of which reportedly went towards covering services for undocumented immigrants. Oh, no. Which is not permitted under federal rules. Oh, I see where this is coming from. So you're saying that since they take money from the federal government in order to fulfill the law, because they're not allowed to turn people away from the ER, and so they have to figure out how they make sure they still get the money, and so they're creative. Interesting. I don't know what that has to do with Social Security though. Medicaid, I could see, because Medicaid does help pay for poor people to go to the hospital. That's true. And Medicaid does help pay. A small percentage, it's like 1%, 2% of Medicaid goes toward people who are going to the ER and getting patched up so they don't die in the gutters. Is that what you prefer? The state's employment development department has faced significant issues with fraud, waste, and abuse during COVID-19. That's true, but that's because of the corporations. I was there. An estimated $33 billion in fraudulent unemployment payments. Yeah, that's a thing that happened, including payments to international crime gangs. The state auditor has repeatedly warned about these vulnerabilities, but the state has been slow to address them. That is an issue. That is a big problem. That's mostly major corporations doing shit like that. The Lakers got caught, for example. Famously, the Lakers got caught doing shit like that. So I wouldn't really call that the state, but I guess the state's not been good at going after them. So but that's true. That is a thing that happened. I'm with you on that one. Political disputes, individual fraud, Social Security system fraud. Cases involve individuals, sometimes SSA employees, stealing benefits from beneficiaries, but it's minor. Some theft, people stealing, foster care benefits. Practice drawn scrutiny is when some county child welfare agencies in California and nationwide legally seize the Social Security benefits of children in foster care to reimburse themselves. Oh, but that's still minor in individuals, not widespread fraud. Okay, so it seems like the only one I'm really going to give you ground on is the unemployment insurance for sure. And you know what? The Medicaid, Medi-Cal thing, it's probably true. I would believe that the Medi-Cal, Medicaid thing happens because you're taking money from Medicaid to fund helping poor people go to the hospital. So why wouldn't that be okay? And the federal government's like, oh, well, you've got to show this amount of money goes to you got to make sure you got to check their immigration status. And they're like, yeah, fuck you. Trust us. Sure, we did it this way. They're just moving the money around, but it's not like they're stealing the money. So I don't really believe you about that bullshit with the Medicaid, Medi-Cal. But okay, if you don't like it, you don't like it, whatever. But the unemployment thing, that's real. That's real. Yeah. So the typical amount of fraud, yes. And the COVID thing. I mean, the COVID was bad because it was chaos and people made money. Criminals got when the getting was good. And actually, man, I hate to say it, but these people that I knew, I opened a restaurant for them and I got hired like during the pandemic. And they told me that they had committed fraud about how they were doing their payroll during the pandemic because it was a restaurant that wasn't open, but it was still a business that had employees. And so they did shit where they basically just falsified and were able to make money from the federal government. Fuck. And so many businesses were doing shit like that. Our business, the company that I was working for in the beginning of the pandemic was doing similar shady stuff. These restaurants, man, these mega restaurants, big places. Las Vegas did this type of thing where they were fraudulently getting benefits from the federal government to help with their employees, their payroll protection plan, I think they called it. But yeah, anyway, and that all ran through employment disability insurance or whatever it was. But it's true. Yeah, but $300 billion ballrooms is a thing. I love COVID. I made so much money from COVID. You made a lot of money from COVID. Good for you. Good for you. I wish instead of working for some rich assholes, I had been doing YouTube, because there's a lot of YouTubers that made a lot of money doing what I do right now, and they're way ahead. And like, I'm just struggling. I'm broke, just trying to make ends meet. But yeah. They tax everything, Jack, every day, everywhere. Tax. You're absolutely right about that.
Ojo in Japan and Pol Pot in the killing fields. And I think through the prism of history, Donald Trump in this last 21 hours is going to be judged as having seen the world at its potential worst if this regime, this Nazi fascist regime, ever would have achieved their goal, their ambition of nuclear weapons. And I want to get your thoughts specifically.
How would they achieve their national goal of nuclear weapons if we obliterated their nuclear program? Do you think Donald Trump, in his lying approach to this, smiling at your face and saying that we're going to negotiate and make a deal, we're so close to making a deal, meanwhile the CIA is stalking your religious leaders and we're planning on murdering you from the sky? Does that seem like history is going to look kindly on Donald Trump and America? Do you think that when we have another 9/11, that anybody's going to give a shit, that anyone's going to care after we do this shit? Is everyone going to cry that America gets bombed by terrorists when this is the type of shit we pull? We smile at your face and then we bomb you? Come on.
The United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it.
Nobody's seen anything like it. Man, we've all seen this before. No one's ever seen anything like it? Yeah, we saw it. It was Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Desert Storm, Operation Desert Shield. We've seen this movie before. No one's ever seen it. We've never seen it like this. No one's ever seen explosions before. We've never seen dead kids before. Dead children, we've never seen them. Never seen them. Are you really backing Iran, LMAO? It's so funny that people are so stupid. This is how stupid people. This is the level of critical thinking that you have in America these days, folks. This is it. Did I back Iran? No. No, I did not back Iran.
We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building.
Speaking of COVID, this guy's got long COVID, am I right? Like, this motherfucker's got long I can't even get through a speech. Like, man, it's hard to do a Donald Trump impersonation these days because you got to be in this breathing part. Building. He's got long COVID for sure. His lung capacity is that of a 3-year-old at this point. Yes, back the Iranian people. Yeah, back the Iranian people. I do back the Iranian people. I back all people, actually. It was called D-Day, genius. Try Guadalcanal. To be fair, there's more than one way to get nuclear weapons. There is more than one way to get nuclear weapons. But do you think they could just have nuclear weapons without a delivery system? You also have to deliver the nuclear weapon through a rocket or something, which used to be like America's big defense, right? Like, it would be really hard to get a nuclear weapon to our shores. Donald Trump is now saying that Iran they were a week away. All right, we'll prove it. That's what they said about Iraq. We've seen this before. They said this about Iraq. Yeah, Iraq. Yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, they were about to bomb us, everybody.
In a matter of
weapons of mass destruction.
Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. Combat operations continue.
He's like dead.
At this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. Earlier today.
What are the objectives, sir?
You don't need to know that. They're just very strong objectives. They're very strong.
CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization.
They've waged war against civilization, everybody. I mean, as you know, we've been at war. All of civilization has been at war with Iran, according to Donald Trump. Dad showers with me, 450, says, having a red X through every portrait of your chain of command in a matter of hours must suck. We wouldn't have that capability if there were more people like you. That's true. They wouldn't, because I wouldn't vote to have our... if there were more people like me, we would not have this crazy murderous instinct to go around the world just murdering people willy-nilly. We'd allow people to self-govern and do their own thing. I believe in power to the people. You believe in despotism, it seems like. It seems that way. I don't know. Are you into tyranny? You like sitting in the cuck chair? You like being a sub? You like having the ball gag in your mouth? What's your thing, man? Because it seems like you're really into tyranny these days. You like having that boot on your neck? You're like, what logo's on that boot? It looks so nice. The American way. The American way is to have that boot on your neck, and you're like, oh, those are nice boots. What logo is that on that? Is that a Coach boot? Oh God! Just keep stepping on my leg. Keep stepping on my neck because I can't help it. I want to see that logo. Oh, it's a Louis Vuitton boot? That's the American way.
I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death.
I want to get you this out to Nick Robertson.
Face certain death, says Donald Trump. Sky, did you see the reports of Elon Musk fraud in Georgia? I've seen some things. I haven't really formed an opinion about it yet. What do you think, Brian T.U.? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Love to hear what you have to say about Elon Musk's fraud in Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was way behind. He was looking to make a deal. That's Charlie Daniels, everybody. You like Charlie Daniels?
Who is in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
Here's CNN. Enjoy it while it lasts. I know you guys hate CNN, but enjoy it while it lasts. It is now paramount. It will now be headed by the super MAGA-friendly MAGA lover. He's a MAGA lover. David and Larry Ellison. They're big time MAGA lovers. They love MAGA.
Arabia, where, Nick, the Defense Ministry has just released a statement that 2 drones were intercepted and destroyed at one of its largest oil refineries. Nick, the Ras Tanura refinery is hugely economically significant. What do we know at this point?
Yeah, it's a very massive, sprawling facility. I've been there on a number of occasions before. It covers a vast area.
Yes, send in... That's it. Send in MAGA. Well, don't worry. MAGA children will be sent first, probably, because, they always sign up. They're always cannon fodder. And then they're like, how did this happen to our American heroes? They fought for our freedom. Really? Really? This is fighting for our freedom? Is that what they signed up for? Fighting for our freedom? Don't forget, everybody, when people die in this ridiculous fight in Iran, they'll say that they died for our freedom. Donald Trump's already saying that Iran had declared war on civilization itself. What? Donald Trump, we just watched him say that Iran declared war on civilization itself. So when our boys die, it won't just be for America. It'll be for it won't be just for our freedoms. No. It'll be for civilization. This is an existential threat, Iran. They were so close to just killing every man, woman, and child in civilization. Remarkable. Anyway, CNN is on the cutting block. It's almost gone. I think that Barron, should we send Barron? I love that idea. Let's send Barron. He's 6'9". Send him. He could just spin his arms around. He looks like one of those dancing tube creatures that you see at the car lots. He's like, that's like Barron to me. Man, I watched that movie Melania. I thought that Barron might at least talk. Nah, the guy doesn't even talk. Why don't they free Barron? What happened to Barron? What are they doing to that poor kid?
And is very important to Saudi Arabia's economy. It can produce capacity, about 500,000 barrels of oil a day. That's a significant number. What we're hearing from the spokesman at the Ministry of Defense here is that 2 drones were intercepted as they were flying towards that, or in the vicinity of that refinery. These drones were intercepted. Debris fell. There are no casualties. And the spokesperson saying that this falling debris lit a fire in the area.
The falling debris. They shot down the drones, but the debris got them. Pre-filled out forms sent to people, and then votes cast for those people. I want to know how it took 2 years to find this out, and then what it has to do with 2020 voting ballots since they took the... Well, I mean, we knew that Elon Musk was giving people $1 million and shit to vote for Donald Trump and stuff. Like, he was clearly breaking the law. He was doing the thing in Wisconsin where he was trying to get the judge elected so that his car dealership, so that the Constitution and the law would be changed in Wisconsin because he didn't want to have... Because in Wisconsin, it's against the law for a car maker to own the dealership. For obvious reasons, I think, but we don't have time to get into it. And so Elon Musk wanted to change that law. Because Tesla doesn't have dealerships that are owned by third parties. They own their own dealerships. They have outlets. It's an outlet mall situation. If you go to a Tesla dealership, it's not actually a dealership. It's just the Tesla company with a storefront. That's what he likes. And so he wanted to do that in Wisconsin. They're like, no, that's against the law. You're not allowed to do that here. And so he started spending millions of dollars to try to get a different judge elected to change the law. Man, this guy's got... Elon Musk is from a long line of fascists. His grandfather was a straight up Nazi, not just like an actual Nazi. And he moved to South Africa from Canada because he thought that they could be more Nazi-ish. He thought it'd be like they liked the vibe of the apartheid thing. They liked fascism, and they were just super into it. So then they moved their family from Canada to South Africa, and then they had little Elon, and little Elon was raised in a house of Nazis. He loved his grandfather. He loved his father, who was also a Nazi, and now he's a Nazi. They're all Nazis.
This is obviously an area of concern for Saudi Arabia, thinking here of the foreign ministerial level GCC virtual meeting that happened yesterday, a joint statement from those GCC foreign ministers talking about a very strong diplomatic...
Is it okay to bomb Saudi Arabian refineries? I mean, hey, they're Muslim though, boys. I know you maggers hate Muslims. Is it okay for Iran? How do you navigate this? Is it okay for Iran to bomb Saudi Arabia? Oh no! Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Signal saying that they had the right to take all necessary measures to protect their security and stability. So it comes within that context. A very clear diplomatic.
Yeah, he was a Canadian Nazi. Look it up. He was a Canadian Nazi, and he moved to South Africa. I'm not making that up. Google it. It's a long thing. Like, Elon Musk's grandfather was a Nazi. He moved his family from Canada to South Africa. That was because he thought South Africa apartheid was pretty cool. He thought he liked it. He thought he was politically active, very politically active. And that's how Elon grew up.
Legal news just in that controversial federal indictment of Don Lemon, another independent journalist, and several participants in an anti-ICE protest at a church.
We are not going to have journalism anymore. Please help me fund this channel. Please drop a penny in the pot. Fund independent media, because I can't do this alone. I won't be able to do this forever unless we fund each other and try to help each other out. Become a channel member. Channel members get exclusive streams every day, exclusive content every day, a guitar recital every month. We do all sorts of cool shit for the rebels, Sky City Rebels. Join the Sky City Rebels. We're building dignity-based resistance on the internet, doing some cool stuff. I hope that you'll join us. Keep it alive, because independent media can die too. Look at Don Lemon. He's going in.
In Minnesota last month, the DOJ has put together a superseding indictment modifying this case. MS Now legal affairs reporter Fallon Gallagher is here with us. What are the details?
Oh, thank you. This is one of my favorite things that happens. Maggers always do this. You're not very bright, are ya, bud? Can't spell your. I love it. Like, I don't care that, people misspell things on the internet all the time. But if you're going to insult someone's intelligence, like, read it before you send it out. Okay, bud? Don't, if you can't get are you homophobic or homophonic? If you can't get your homophones right, your, and your, don't insult people's intelligence on the internet. Like, even this guy, he gets it. He missed the apostrophe, but that's okay. I got you. Because you're a liar! I love that. You're a liar! You're a liar!
Fallon. Yeah, Anna, we have very few details at this point because this indictment remains under seal, but we know that the DOJ has to return a new superseding indictment in the case involving Don Lemon because the DOJ filed a motion asking the judge to unseal that. So we have yet to see the contents of this indictment, so we can't speak specifically how it's changed yet, but we have a few hints. We can see online that the docket has changed, the case name has changed from U.S. v. Levy Armstrong, of course, that first co-defendant in the case, to U.S. v. Seals. And so that implies that there may be a number of new co-defendants who have been arrested in connection to that church protest who are added to this case. We don't know if the charges have changed, but we would imagine that this case should be unsealed very soon. What's interesting here is that
our affiliate CARE in Minneapolis is reporting that 9 new people have been arrested in connection to that church protest. So it could be that they're adding those 9 new defendants to this case. But at this point, we don't know. What's really notable here, though.
Isn't it fun that, okay, so now CNN is being sold to Paramount CBS. So that's gone. Like, CNN, I know you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. I miss conservative news. That was just like straight ahead conservative news. CNN. I thought they were really good at like mild propaganda. They're not so hardcore like the Fox News, but Fox and CNN, they always pretend to be very different, And now CNN's not going to exist anymore. It's going to be exactly like Fox News. Everything will be like Fox News. CBS will be like Fox News. Everything will be like Fox. Everything will be super pro-government. Super pro-government. We love the state now. Do you remember when the Tea Party and them, they used to sound like libertarians, they wanted small government and all that? Whatever happened to that? I miss those guys. Whatever happened to all those guys? What happened to the Republicans? Do we have any? Do we have any Republicans in the House? I miss you guys. Whatever happened to them? Anybody? Do we have any? No, you guys are all gone, right? I'm mixed on Iran, but the fact that we're starting a war because of Trump's ego, he dropped out of an agreement with Iran, labeled them as terrorists, and then sanctioned them and anyone who traded. That's exactly it. I mean, that's what they did. And meanwhile, they pretended like they were negotiating. Like, no one can trust America anymore. You're going to trust America? Oh, we just want to talk. Shame on me, right? Fool me once, shame on me. Fame me. You're not going to fool me again. I was trying to do George W. Bush. Remember when George W. Bush fucked that up? They got a saying out in Texas, probably the same in Tennessee. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You're not going to fool me again. Anyway, we're fucked.
Anthropic's chatbot, named Claude, is now #1 in the App Store after the company's very public fallout with the Pentagon this week. Just yesterday, it passed OpenAI's ChatGPT for the #1 spot in Apple's U.S. App Store. The company, Anthropic, says free users have increased more than 60% since January, and paid subscribers have...
Yeah, I'm going to Anthropic. I'm going to have to do the same thing. I just found out that I use ChatGPT, and I'm going to have to jump ship. It's going to be a hard switch. I've been using ChatGPT since before you. I've been using ChatGPT, and now I'm going to have to switch because, fuck them. They're Zionist bastards. Not only are they Zionist bastards, they're like super into Donald Trump, and the #1 Trump supporter now is OpenAI. Sam Altman, what happened? They smelled that money.
More than doubled this year. This all comes after Anthropic tried to negotiate for safeguards to stop the Department of Defense from using its AI models for mass surveillance of Americans. It also opposed the Defense Department's plan to use its technology for fully autonomous weapons, to power equipment like drones that could kill without any human involvement. Now, because Anthropic wouldn't agree to those 2 requirements, President Trump then told all federal agencies to stop using Anthropic. To discuss this story, as well as the developing news of the war in the Middle East and Iran, we want to welcome back Nolan Higdon to the show. He's a political history professor at UC Santa Cruz. Good morning, Nolan.
Good morning.
The Anthropic-Pentagon dispute. For people who've been following this, it's disturbing, almost dystopian. Is there any recourse for Anthropic or anyone who's concerned about how the federal government uses AI in the future?
Well, this has been a longstanding problem. The United States government has really been hesitant to put any regulations in place on big tech. They mostly let big tech kind of decide for itself. As a result, you see these
what
kinds
could go
of conflicts.
wrong?
And I think one of the main issues here, concerns, at least from the perspective of Anthropic, is what we call AI right now is not actually intelligence. It's large language models that memorize patterns. And as a result, there's not a lot of safeguards on what that pattern recognition can do. We've seen certain tests where they've tried to have a large language model do a certain thing, but it does something else instead. And I think Anthropic and these other companies are concerned that their product, if it's deciding things like such as war, could have some outcomes that those using it aren't expecting.
Yeah, they used to say guns don't kill people, people kill people, but if you let the Pentagon get its way with AI, the guns will actually be killing people. They'll just be smart guns, just guns walking around killing people because the AI gets to make that decision now. They want to have all legal decisions made by AI. It's like, are you serious right now, man? You're talking about killing people, and the Pentagon wants AI to be able to make that decision. And they have already had like AI drone convoys where they'll be like making sure nobody comes by. So it's just the AI flying these drones, and like there's trucks on the road, and the drones are in the sky making sure nothing goes wrong. They've done stuff like that. But they're talking about like sending drones and having them do the killing, make the decision on the fly, friend or foe. Gun ranges are busy. I swear to God, I'm telling you, I went to go get ammo a couple weeks ago, and they're sold for 3 weeks in a row at my Turner's. 9mm bullets sold out. I went to my other gun shop, which is a little bit more expensive, and I went to go get my 9mm, and they were telling me you got to buy 1,000 rounds because if you don't get 1,000 rounds, someone else, because people are buying 15,000 rounds, you're not going to be able to buy any. Get at least 1,000, and so I did. I bought 1,000 rounds, but it's too much. Like, I don't know. It's crazy, man. Gun ranges are very busy. I go to the gun range and it's packed. I shoot every week, and it's been packed. It's crazy. Don't worry, Democrats will take your rights and freedoms, and you will cheer the whole time. What are you talking about, Laugh Skull? What these fucking morons? You see this thing on the bottom? It says my name. It says independent right there. Skyjack Morgan, independent. You see that right there? Dumb shit. Democrats will take... Oh, Jesus. I can't even stand it with you guys, like, arguing between Coke and Diet Coke. Democrat, though! Republican, though! You're so stupid. You're just so stupid. You're so stupid. Meanwhile, right now, the people in power are taking away your rights. Right now. And you're like, but the Democrats might come into power and do something wrong. What? Right now, someone's taking away your rights. Democrats, bro, I'm afraid of the Democrats. What? You guys are cultists, man. You're cultists, bro.
And I think that's the concern at the heart of this discussion.
There you go. Makes mistakes. AI is not infallible, and also it takes away that human element when it comes to these matters of life and death. Where do you think this dispute goes? What's the next step from here?
Well, I mean, it looks like OpenAI has decided to step in and fill whatever void the Department of Defense thought it needed filled by Anthropic. But I think there's a larger regulatory question here. AI, like many big tech products, has been advertised really well. People think that, it is infallible when in fact is not, or it can do these things that it cannot.
Anyone who uses it knows it's not infallible. It fucks up all the time. Remember when RFK Jr. turned in his homework and it was filled with references that went to nowhere, a bunch of links to evidence that went to nowhere because the AI that they used to write it just invented shit? That was so fun. I love that shit. RFK Jr. MAGA, you guys really are a bunch of morons that didn't do your homework. You're like, I don't know, beat up Screech. You put Screech in the locker. You're like, do my homework, punk. And Screech is like, oh, Zach, help me. Like, Screech only hangs out with the cool kids at Bayside because AJ Slater helps him out against the bullies. But MAGA's the bullies. MAGA is the bullies trying to get Screech to do their homework for them because they're too stupid to do their own homework. And then they get into the real world and they're like, oh, ding dang, dude, got to do homework in the real world too? Yeah, you got to do homework in the real world too. Well, we'll just use AI. No one will notice. We all noticed. Fry it up in beef lard. It'll be fine. If you fry everything in beef lard, everything's fine, right? Yeah. I got it. Fucking RFK Jr. dying. Jack must have gotten beat up every day by Republicans. Nah, man. Nah, I never got beat up by a Republican, except my dad. But no, never got beat up by a Republican. I'm a pretty big guy. I mean, right now I'm 6'5". I weigh 245 pounds. I'm a pretty big guy. I carry a gun wherever I go, mostly. Like, I'm a pretty scary guy when you see me in person, believe it or not. I know on the internet it doesn't seem that way, but in person I can be a little intimidating. And I think it's important to be intimidating. You should be intimidating, because the world's a violent place. I've worked in a lot of violent places. I've been seen a lot of shootings, a lot of killings, a lot of stabbings in my life, and I say you gotta stand tall and be strong, or else you might be the victim. I don't like that idea.
CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots.
As one nation, they're true American patients. They're patriots because they fought for civilization, because Iran was declaring war on civilization, according to Donald Trump.
Patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the...
I love this. Yeah. You do have a punch me face. Yeah, I got that face. People want to punch it, but they're too short usually. They swing and they miss, they're too short. Most people are so short. But generally people think they're going to fight me, and then they get close and they're like, oh, that's usually what happens. But I've had my fair share of fights. I worked in Las Vegas where, well, it's a long story. A lot of things happen in Vegas, a lot of fights. I've been in a lot of bar fights, been in a lot of fights. But, a lot of fights. Luckily, I made it. Like, I have people I worked with. I got a friend, man. He got a fight. When my assistant manager, man, it was rough. He got in a fight right after we split ways, man. He went to go work at PBR in Las Vegas, on Las Vegas Boulevard, and these assholes beat the shit out of him in the bar. And it was like 5-on-1. I was like, where the fuck was your security, man? And he has a plate in his head now. He got fucked up. But every time I had like 5-on-1 situations, I had like armed people with me, anyway, like, I was afraid of going too far and hurting somebody. There's never been too bad coming the other way, but lucky me. It's on site when I pull up on you, Sky. It's on site when I pull up on you. So that's great. You got it. Do you have a truck gun? I wonder, you're in a truck. Do you have a truck gun? I never see it in your content. I watch all your content. Do you have a gun in your truck? I wonder. I would definitely have one if I were driving a truck. For sure, man.
Families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more.
That's just the way it is, says Donald Trump. There will likely be more American deaths, says Donald. Mike, that's just the way it is. Like it, subscribe. It's just the way it is. Like it, subscribe. Like it, subscribe. We're going to kill more Americans. More are going to die. It's just the way it is. Sorry, not sorry.
President Trump warning there will likely be more U.S. troops killed and wounded as part of Operation Epic Fury. The question is, what is the administration's endgame in Iran? Meanwhile, congressional reaction to the attack appears largely split along party lines. The question is, will lawmakers vote on a war powers resolution that would restrain the president's military power? Plus, oil prices have soared as U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran send disruptions through the global energy supply chain. The question is, just how high will those prices go? We're going to check on the markets. It's way too early for this.
Well, it's funny you say not a single rich person's child will be lost. I don't know. I mean, Joe Biden's kid died in war. Don't forget, like, Hunter Biden's brother died, throwing Hunter Biden into this like deep depression with anxiety and addiction, and all these horrible things happened. Joe and Jill, they said they weren't going to run for president because of it. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was really horrible for Joe Biden. His son got killed in war. Do you think any rich people will die in this war? Rich compared to the Iranians, am I right? Rich compared to those people. Rich compared to the people they're killing. I had 5 cops jump me from behind. I went down to one knee and stood back up, and they were all rolling away from me on the ground. They basically bounce off of me. Wow, that's pretty good. I haven't had that happen. Never had that happen. I've always been kind of clever, and a lot of times the people that I had to fight in my life were drunk and I wasn't, so that's been good. That's helped me out, to be honest. Not to say that I haven't had my ass kicked, but I was younger, picking fights. Back when I was young and picking fights, I got my ass kicked a lot more than I did as a grown-up. As an adult, I never really lost a fight because it was always stupid people. People didn't have much experience, and I had people with me and guns and weapons, and and they were usually drunk. So, yeah. Anyway.
Oklahoma lawmakers are battling it out over 2 highly controversial bills. Both would require state agencies to report families who are undocumented.
Both bills passed the House today, but after a lot of argument, News 4's Dylan Brown is in studio. Excuse me, he's not in studio. He's at the Capitol to explain the issue lawmakers have with the bills. Dylan.
Yeah, Kevin Ether, I'm here at the Capitol. So let me break this down real quick. Right now in Oklahoma, documented children can apply and receive benefits like SNAP, Medicaid, and such, even if their parents are undocumented. So these bills, it passed, they don't completely stop these families from receiving it, but more than likely, those undocumented parents would be scared to even try and apply for them. House Speaker Kyle Hilbert wants to have state agencies work with DHS and ICE, alerting them to those who apply for Medicaid, SNAP, and TANF if they aren't documented. The issue lawmakers say mixed status families, kids who are documented but their parents aren't, might not apply anymore. Democrats pushing Republicans Thursday.
How many folks are undocumented who are actually trying to access these services right now in the state of Oklahoma?
Conversations like this continue to push families into the shadows.
Republicans not answering several of the questions.
Definitely waste when somebody who is here illegally is getting those benefits. Somebody that is...
What's so funny is like they don't realize that what they're doing is creating a situation where people won't call the cops anymore. No one will trust the cops. I don't trust the cops anyway, but I know a lot of you probably still do. A lot of you probably still trust the cops. But now, who will call the cops if the cops come and they take away mama and papa? Who will ask for benefits? You'll have people starving and stealing because they can't ask for benefits from the government, even though the child is an American citizen. The child is eligible for assistance. In places like Oklahoma, this is really important because a lot of people are on assistance because there's not much work in Oklahoma. So the kid needs assistance, but he can't get it because mom is undocumented, but dad is a citizen. So dad's a citizen, mom's undocumented, kid's a citizen, but they don't want to get assistance now because the government is going to take mom away. They'll never call the cops when something's going down on their street because they're afraid mom's going to get taken away. They'll never trust the government at all, which might be good for them, but not good for everybody else. Because if they see a crime, they won't report it. If they see something happening and they need to help, they won't help because they're afraid someone's going to take mom away. Kids are going to kids are going to get hurt and they're going to commit crimes because of this. Because if you can't get assistance the legal way, you will steal money to live. Everyone will. They'll knock over liquor stores. They'll do whatever they have to. People will do whatever they have to live. They'll take it from each other. And then you'll say, well, the illegals are causing all these problems. It's not the illegals causing the problems. The mom's not going to go out and commit crimes. The dad will, because he's got nothing to lose. If I had one, it wouldn't be virtually 7 milliseconds before I used it. Hey, Speaker's talking about you got an itchy trigger finger. You got itchy trigger finger. Yeah, I guess you probably shouldn't have one then. You probably shouldn't have a gun then. That makes sense. That makes sense. Don't have one. Don't get one. Maybe you should take classes on like some anger management classes and then get a gun. Maybe that'd be a good idea. You should do that. America. There you go. Thank you, everybody, for joining Illegitimate Non-Carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. This is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. This is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube, The Morning Sky Show. Homan is there to traffic all the children just like he did for... Well, yeah. There you go. The laws of suppression is what creates the problem. Exactly. Yeah. Pretty simple, right? Virtual reality for me. If you aren't a channel member like Virtual Reality for Me, please become one. We are the Sky City Rebels. I'm a loner, Dottie. A rebel. And please become a channel member. Support independent media. Keep it alive. Keep it going. Keep the dream alive while all of the legacy media crumbles and falls into the sea. Like those castles made of sand. Oh, fall into the sea. Eventually. Again, Democrats care about getting illegals, entitlement. Oh my God, this person's so dumb. Again, it's not about illegals or undocumented people getting entitlement. You are stupid. Okay. Again, no one was talking about getting any entitlements for people who are undocumented. Undocumented people cannot get entitlement programs. The problem is people who are children and they have one family member, the mom is undocumented and the dad is a citizen and the kid is a citizen, they can't get assistance even though they pay into the system. Jesus, it's so difficult. Democrats, though. Democrats, though. Democrats. Democrats. Oh my God, you guys, you stupid maggers. You stupid maggers. You stupid little maggers. Maglets. You maglets. This way of life. It looks like just like what we were doing. We've exported our turmoil and our vitriol to the other worlds. Look at this. We've done it. Now they're at war with themselves. And now the world's in chaos. Good thing you're hanging out with Americans. It looks like Minnesota, doesn't it? It does look like Minnesota. Say, no, we're exporting our way of life to these other countries. And why aren't we? Wait, this just in. Women can't work in Pakistan. Well, then why are we allies with them? How come we're allies with Pakistan? So weird. Why are we allies with... Women can't really work in Saudi Arabia either, or Dubai or the United Arab Emirates. Why are we allies with these folks then? It's so weird. It's almost like we don't care about women. Don't know. It's so weird. That was the American consulate. That was the American consulate in Karachi. So what those people were defending were the people protesting America inside of Pakistan. So a mob of people, revolutionaries, rebels, people that just aren't cool with what's going on, they showed up at the consulate and wanted to, take some heads. But luckily, we've already evacuated everybody, and those people who were in uniform were Pakistani folk trying to keep the rebels from destroying our buildings out there, because that's American land out there, as you know. The word games on this topic won't save you from the mortality of the issue at hand, or morality of the issue at hand. Unlike you, I can remember a CBS presentation from 2012 showing, guess what, exactly what MAGA is in here saying. What are they in here saying? That they hate immigrants and they hate what? What are you trying to say? The word games on this topic won't save you? I'm not trying to save. What do you mean word games aren't going to save me? I'm not trying to save myself with word games. Just reacting to the news like any sane person should. You should be watching the news. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. DEI allowed for women to get jobs, yet no issue with rolling back of this ability for women to work. Oh yeah, P. Hegseth doesn't want women to work. I forgot. P. Hegseth. I'm a conservative. Yeah, I'm a conservative. I'm a conservative, man. I'm a conservative. I believe in things like the Constitution, baby. I'm a conservative. I think the government should be small. I'm a conservative. I want to do that. You want the little board? You want my little... All you got to do is give a donation. I'll play my stylophone for you. That was for you. The free one. That's a free one for you. Put a penny in the pot. I play the stylophone. I think that's why Hate Speaker Sargon of Akkad loves the channel so much. Just loves the stylophone.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Let's listen.
Admiral Brad Cooper, the CENTCOM commander, across the CENTCOM AOR, our leadership and troops.
There's our Secretary of War. The Secretary of War! But we're all about peace, folks. We're all about peace. Operation Epic Thunder. What do you call it? Operation Epic. What do you call Epic Failure? What do you call Epic Fury? Operation Epic Failure. No, it's Operation Epic Fury. Trust me. We're all about peace in America.
As you would expect, doing a fantastic job.
Fantastic job. Way to go.
In the direction and direct orders of President Donald J. Trump, the Department of War launched Operation Epic Fury, the most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history. For 47 long years, the expansionist and Islamist regime in Tehran...
In history, they're expansionist? Wait a fucking second. How did Iran... They're expansionist? What in the hell? That's a new one. I never heard that Iran was expansionist. Hold on a second. Let me just ask Google real quick. Is Iran expansionist? Their expansionist power driven by a long-term strategy to extend their influence. This is Tony Blair. Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Throughout the Middle East and beyond, spearheaded by the Islamic Revolutionary Guards, this strategy aims to export the 1979 Islamic Revolution and establish regional hegemony. Oh, really? Okay. they want because of Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and Iraq. How's it going? How's it going? Did it work? Methodology. Iran uses a combination of hard power, military support for proxies, and soft power, charities, media, and educational institutes to build support and create dependency on their regime. Okay, yeah. The expansionist. So I guess our expansionist regime is better than your expansionist regime, Iran.
Has waged a savage, one-sided war against America. They didn't always declare it openly, except for their constant chance of death to America. They did it through the blood of our people. Car bombs in Beirut, rocket attacks on our ships, murders at our embassies, roadside bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan, funded and armed by Iranian Quds Force and IRGC killers. My generation of veterans carry the names of brothers who never came home. Brothers butchered by Iranian-backed roadside bombs and well-armed militias, thousands of our own.
Does anybody believe this shit? Like, I've been alive a long time. I know a lot of people who died overseas. I know a lot of people who went to war and came back. And I don't remember anybody getting killed by Iran. What do you know? I mean, I knew a lot of people went to Afghanistan. I knew a lot of people who went to Iraq the first and second time. I don't remember anybody getting killed by Iranians. What's this all about?
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
We didn't start it?
Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult. It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence.
Hey, Speaker Sargon of Akkad. Chiming in. This just in. Saying these people can't legally get these benefits doesn't mean they don't, you clown. The only thing you can legitimately argue is the scale. Even if it's $1, that's your and my dollar, not for them. All right, so listen, man. We have entitlement programs. If you want to get rid of the entitlement programs, get rid of them, man. The reason why they're called entitlement programs is because we give that money and we deserve it back. We are entitled to it. That's why it's called entitlement programs, like Social Security. That's my fucking money. And now I put money in, I should be able to take that money back because it's my money. Entitled, you see? Now, when you're talking about the different benefits, entitlement or otherwise, that are going to people who are of mixed cultural heritage, mixed documentation, some are documented, some are undocumented, and now you're saying you're going to make it harder because you want them to do certain things to turn in mom. You got to turn in mom if you want to get benefits now. Now, what's fucked up about that is that the other people in the house are paying for those benefits. You see? You shouldn't have to rat on your family members in order to get the money that you gave the government back. If you want to say that the government should stop taking our money for these programs, I'm perfectly willing to have that conversation with you, and I think that that would be a good one because I think we'd find some common ground. But this is fucking bullshit that we're turning neighbor against neighbor, family member against family member in order to destroy families and get them and put people into concentration camps at the end of the day. This is what they're doing. They're trying to get people into concentration camps. You see, this is no different than what they did in the Gestapo days of Germany. It's no different. Certain people can't get benefits now. But wait, we paid for those benefits. Fuck you. That's going to be the answer. That's going to be the answer. The Jews who lived in Germany paid into the system of the Weimar Republic. They paid in, they paid their taxes, they owned businesses, they paid taxes, they did all of these things that they were supposed to do, be good citizens, the whole thing. And then they said, hey, well, you're not going to get that anymore because you're Jewish. Or because you have a Jewish cousin, or you have a Jewish brother, or you married a Jew, and they go down the list, you see. First, they came for the Jews, and I did nothing because I wasn't Jewish. Then they came for the unions and the union laborists, the labor unionists, and I did nothing because I wasn't a union laborist. That's what they do. Then they came for the socialists. I did nothing because I wasn't part of the socialists. They're going down the ladder. Now they're going after families, and they're saying because your mom or your brother is undocumented. Like, I have friends. I have a friend who's a citizen, born here, and her brother is not a citizen and is undocumented. And that guy came here when he was 2 years old. 2 years old. He's only ever known this country. Now, if she fell on hard times, she couldn't get the benefits that she's paid into because she'd have to rat out her brother in order to get them. So if she loses her job, a job that she paid for unemployment insurance for. She paid for that fucking unemployment insurance. She should get it when she loses her job. But now she can't get it because her brother is illegal. You see? It's fucked. It's totally fucked. And it's wrong. It's wrong-headed. It's mean-hearted. It's stupid. Nope, not having this. This is clearly beneficial to one classification of person over another. You're not pettifogging your way out. I'm not pettifogging shit. I think you don't know what that word means sometimes, Steve. I hate to insult you, but I don't mind insulting you, but come on, give me a break. Pettifogging? I'm not pettifogging. We're turning people against each other so that we can fill our concentration camps. And it ain't right. And also to limit the amount of money going out so we could steal money from the people and not give it back to them when they need it. That's the whole point of the fucking government, is that when we want to have these programs, we all fund them together, and then when we need them, we can all draw from them. But we're not doing that now. We're classifying people. We're putting people on a list and saying these people are better than those people. And it's wrong. You're conservative and don't believe in dead weight. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean dead weight? These people are contributing. I don't know what you mean by dead weight. We're talking about citizens who pay into the system. The undocumented person is just the victim here. They're not taking any money, everybody. They're not taking anything. They're not paying. They are paying in, but they're not taking anything. We're not changing that. They pay in, they get nothing. But the sister of that person, if they lose their job, even though they've been paying in their whole lives, if say she's got a job for 30 years and she's been paying for 30 years, she loses her job, she can't get unemployment or whatever the benefit may be because her brother is undocumented. Does that make sense to you? No one's dead weight here. Nobody's dead weight. If you're a conservative, then you should give a shit about people. No one is dead weight there. Trump is dead weight. Elon Musk is dead weight. The billionaire class is dead weight. The Trumpstein class is dead weight. The billionaires, the 900 billionaires that buy and sell working class children and immigrant children, and they toss their bodies to the side after filming their snuff films, that's the dead weight. You don't like dead weight? Go after them. Do something, for God's sake. No, I want to go after people who do. Illegals do not pay into the system. They pay sales tax. They don't pay state. What are you fucking? I'm sorry. You're completely wrong. No, sorry. Of course they pay into the system. It's called federal withholding. They use fake social security numbers, and then we take money out of their paychecks. What do you think? They're all getting paid on the table in cash? Is that what you think? Are you fucking stupid? Are you stupid? Is that seriously what we have to? Is that seriously what I have to explain to you? They come to this country. They work for McDonald's. They work for Walmart. They work for restaurants. They work at everywhere where you can find work. They're working there. They come in. They have a system to get a fake social security number or a TIN number. They get a tax ID number because some people don't have social security numbers, so they get a TIN number. So then they can get a job and they work and they pay taxes. They pay state and federal income tax, and they can't file returns. So we just take, and they'll never get anything else. They do not pay state or federal taxes? Yo, you're completely wrong. You're completely wrong. Of course they play it. Of course they do. They use fake social security numbers and TINs. That's how they do it. They fake their I-9s, and they get a fake TIN or a fake SSN, and then they pay their taxes their whole lives and are never allowed a return. That's how that works.
He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense. Many have said it.
We get to decide who gets to have nuclear weapons. But I thought we obliterated their nuclear weapons. Well, yeah, but
it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts. Iran's stubborn and self-evident nuclear pursuits, their targeting of global shipping lanes, and their swelling arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones are no longer tolerable risks. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a...
All right. Clearly, no one wants to talk about Iran. Okay. The way I see it, if someone has been around since they were 2, they could not figure out how to become documented by the time they're 30. That's an issue. What do you mean figure it out? How do you think that they can do it? How do you think you could become documented if you came here when you were 2 years old. How do you think you can do that? There's no way to do it unless you get amnesty through the DACA program. But if you just got a DUI or something or a minor crime, then you can't get that. You're not a DACA. You're not possible. You're not available to you. So there's nothing you can do. Let's say you were 15 and you got caught spray painting a wall or something minor, right? And now you can no longer, there's no chance of you ever becoming a citizen of the United States. You can't become a DACA. If you want to go through the proper channels, the waiting list is 100 years. Like, I'm not even joking. The waiting list for most countries is like 50 to 100 years. You could join the lottery, but the lottery, you have to go back to your country where you don't know anybody because you came here when you were 2. Now you can go back to your country, well, which is stupid because America is your country. You came here when you were 2. You only know people here. You don't have friends back there. So what? They're supposed to go back to Venezuela and apply for the lottery system? Oh, guess what? There are no lottery tickets for the Venezuelans. So what are they supposed to do? Get married? Well, you got to find someone to marry you. It's a big problem. And if you're illegal, then you might not be able to do it anyway because a K-1 visa and a marriage certificate and all that. You have to go back to that other country. You might not be allowed to go back to that other country. You might not even have a passport. How are you going to get on an airplane? How do you become a citizen? You could declare asylum, but you can't prove that you're in fear for your life because your country that you fled when you were 2 years old. How do you declare asylum? You were 2 when you got here. Well, you're afraid that someone's going to kill you? You didn't have time to piss anybody off in the other country. Venezuela, let's say. What do you mean? You're seeking asylum, you're afraid for your life. And by the way, if you seek asylum in this country now, they arrest you. What do you mean? There's no chance. There's no, when you hear people say that they have this legal way, do it the right way, there is no right way. That's a myth. There's no right way to get into this country right now. And there hasn't been for a long time. That's why we have an uptick in asylum seekers. That's why you have more people saying, I'm afraid to be home. And they're afraid of starving at home. They're afraid of getting killed at home. They had to leave and come here. And they say, I need asylum. Well, we have a lot of asylum seekers all of a sudden. Why? Because there's no fucking legal pathway to get into this country. This nation of immigrants. How can such a great country have homeless veterans? Good question. Good question. Such a great country. We're such a great country, yeah. Trump is inconsistent. Consistent now. He's inconsistent. You can't even keep... Do you love Putin or you hate Putin? Do you love Zelensky or you hate Zelensky? You would have perfect knowledge of pedophagging. Your atoms are triple bonded with lies and bad arguments. Are you just paying to insult me? I'm more than willing. Pay to insult me. I actually appreciate when you pay to try to make a point. But you can pay to insult me too. I'll even play my stylophone for you, Steve. But really, it's so boring when you just insult me. It's more interesting when you have like some point of view, something like give me something to work with, man. It's so boring when you just insult me. Steve, just because you consider things petty or trivial doesn't mean everyone else does as well. Yeah. Fuck Trump. Yeah, I get it. Close it down. We're not accepting any people anymore. Why not? Why not? How are you going to build? You know, it's funny. I talked to my conservative uncle a couple days ago because my dad's sick. You know, he's having problems. And I talked to my conservative uncle. He's super conservative, you know, and he's pissed because he's like, he works in construction. He's like, well, they want to build 100 million new homes and all this shit. How the fuck are they going to do it? There's no one to do it. No one to build. They sent everybody home. They're arresting the people who know how to build shit in America. The people who know how to build houses, they're getting arrested. Why? Because they didn't have their paperwork. Sie müssen ihre Papiere in Ordnung haben. You got to have your paperwork. Yeah, 5 million gets you in. There you go. You just have to steal $5 million to get in. There you go. What about the dead man cloning scam with dogs? The same fake Social Security they use to work, they use to collect welfare also. Look, man, they don't collect welfare because they're afraid of getting caught and getting deported. That's not true. They do not. They do not. It's very, very rare for a person who's here illegally to to get any kind of services, get any kind of benefits. It's extremely rare for them to get anything. It's very hard. It's very easy to pay into the system, and it's very hard to pull out of the system. Think about it. As an American citizen, every time I've ever lost a job or been on hard times, I've never collected. Like I've applied for unemployment and never gotten it. Usually it's because I get another job pretty fast, but like there's a couple months there where I'm fucking skinned. I got nothing, and it's because they don't pay in. They don't pay me. I never got the money. I just had to like pay out of pocket, go into debt, use my credit card for shit. That's how I made it through rough times in my lifetime, and I'm a citizen. I pay and I never get. Now, my mom, every day of her life, she worked since she was a little kid. Since she was like 15, she had a job. I've had a job since I was 13. My mom had a job since she was little, and she died a month before she took her Social Security check, the first Social Security check. I'm telling you, it's hard to get any kind of benefits in America. What do you guys think all these people are taking? We have very few benefits in this country. Our welfare, what welfare? What the fuck are you talking about? Our welfare sucks. Everybody knows that. Our healthcare sucks. Everybody knows that. You go to debt, you go bankrupt, you get fucked. And you're afraid the Mexicans are taking advantage? Advantage of what? Advantage of what? In America, they spank you on your ass and they say good luck when you're born, and that's about it. That's about all the help you get in America. This is America. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. Oh, they're afraid of getting all of our benefits. What are you talking about? What fucking benefits? I haven't got any fucking benefits. I've been working since I was 13 years old, paying into a system I'll never get anything out of. They're bombing Iran with my money. That's what they're doing with it. They're building concentrations with my money. That's what they're doing. I've made so many rich fucks so much money in my life, and you know what I've gotten for it? Nothing. I've gotten a pat on the back and thank you very much, sir. Have your shitty paycheck. 30% of which is going to the oligarchs. Great. How do you think that people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk make all that money? They take your money, they take my money, and they give it to them with government contracts, government loans, government subsidies. Oh yeah, but look out. Look out. The Mexicans might take some of it. Yeah. Don't worry. There's none left. Elon Musk and Bill Gates have already taken it all. Shocking seeing you lie like this. I don't need to be here to see an old man be wrong. I can see that on Fox. What are you saying I'm lying about, Steve? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? What am I lying about, buddy? You silly bastard. What happened to your eyes? Yeah, I got those. We used to call them Irish eyes. The Irish smiling eyes. Hee hee hee. I smile. You can't see my eyes when I smile. It's a whole thing. Thanks for asking. Puccini. What's wrong with your eyes? Can't see? Can't open them up to see America? Could you please just admit you don't want to know the scope and scale of this issue? Just say you don't want to know because that's more honorable than... Dude, I Googled it for you. What are you talking about? What scale of what? Them taking advantage of our amazing welfare that we have in this country? Is your claim that we have the best welfare system in the world and that it's so easy to access, and therefore people who barely speak English come to this country and just immediately go on the dole? Is that what you're claiming? Is that what your claim is? Because all the people I've met who are immigrants work their fucking asses off. So I don't know what you're talking about. Every single one of them. Anyway. People who collect unemployment have actually worked and paid into the system. That's right. But you can't get unemployment when you're illegal. That's it. You can't get it. Anyway, that's the show. I'm going to get your view of this issue as myopic and racist. No, not mine, theirs, right? Yeah. People who collect unemployment, yeah. And the Mexican most of the time have the shit jobs that most Americans won't want to do. A lot of times, especially, it's hard because it's not like I've met Mexicans that got great jobs, right? But people who are undocumented, people with like third grade educations and shit, like, man, you know what? I had this dishwasher, man. He had that job. He had that job for like 20 years. And he had become a citizen because his kids, he came into this country without paperwork, and his kids were citizens, and when they turn 18, if you can have a child in America and stay under the radar for about 18 years, your child can sponsor you to stay in this country, get a green card. So I knew a guy like that. His name was Santos. Super cool guy. He used to dig through the restaurant's garbage at night for the aluminum and bottles because he would recycle them. And I had it in my mind as general manager to get people to know each other, and especially people who don't have the best, the best jobs, like the dishwashers. And this guy was such a hard worker. And so I did this little morning thing where I would talk to people about, it's called a pre-shift in the restaurant business. And I did a little thing where I asked him, I speak Spanish, so I asked him some questions about like what was his hobbies, what was it like growing up, stuff like that. Just like getting to know you questions so that everyone would know who Santos was instead of just scraping their plates and throwing them at Santos. And I asked him, what was your hobby when you were a childhood hobby? And he said his favorite thing when he was little was going to school because he could actually exercise his mind. And he was growing up on the farm, the granja, he was out there on the farm. And he didn't have any access to education. He was just working from like the age of 8 or 9. And I found that to be so touching because, man, you talk to American kids and they complain about having to go to school. And this guy, he wished to have just a couple more years of education, that he cherished every moment he was in school. And now he's a dishwasher and he collects aluminum and bottles out of the garbage. And I asked him what he does for fun. And he says he just loves watching movies with his kids and his grandkids, because he had grandkids in this country. And that was what he did on his days off. He just wanted to watch movies with his grandkids. It's just so humble. There's a hardworking man who's so humble and so appreciative and gracious. And I found most people, most first generation immigrants, people who came to this country with nothing, to be very similar to Santos. I have a very soft spot in my heart for people who are hardworking, because when I was a kid, I dug ditches in the fucking desert. I dug ditches in the fucking desert at 13 years old. And God damn it, I learned what a hard day's work was. And I learned what $1 cost to make with my labor. Every dollar is what you earn with your labor. I know what $1 costs me to get. And I know what $1 buys. These fucks who denigrate people who work for a living. People who shit on the working class. Wood chipper for all of them. Whoever said my myopic is and my waist cyst. Oh no, Whoever said I'm myopic and racist, oh no, your opinion on this topic is permissive via being willfully blind. Yeah, but you say a lot of racist shit, man, and you do tend to have a nearsighted problem. Could you please just admit, oh, you already said that, I already read that one for you, but thank you. I don't like people that piss on the working class. I don't like it. Yes, very important to know what money is and how hard it is to get it. Exactly. And you know what? These fucking billionaires like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Donald Trump never had a driver's license. Donald Trump has always had someone else to drive him. And you fucking think he's one of you? This asshole's never driven a car. That's why when he gets behind the wheel of a garbage truck or something, he makes a big joke about it, because he's never driven a car. That's why he looks so dumb when he does it. He's like, oh, conquer, because he's never done it. That's why when he got behind the wheel of a Tesla, he says, it's all computer. It's all computer. Oh, yeah, I love Tesla. Remember that shit? The dude's never driven a fucking car. He's always had other people drive him. This is how separated he is from you. The only value your children have is if he can buy them and sell them to other rich people for sex or labor. The girls go in this line for the sex camps, and the boys go in this line for the labor camps. This is how Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein see the world, man. And Americans are spoiled and spent too much. I mean, this is an issue. You had 140 papers to deliver. Look, man, I hope that Americans do get spoiled, to be honest. I want Americans to be spoiled. I want Americans to not have to work so fucking hard. I hope that we build roads that last 50 years so that my kids won't have to build a bunch of fucking roads and work in tar and work in the heat with the tar and all that smell infecting their lungs. I thought that's why we built buildings that lasted 50 years, so that we wouldn't have to do that shit anymore. Like, that's why we do shit that lasts, well, this road will last 100 years. Great. We don't have to build a road for 100 years. Great. I'm not saying that everyone needs to go dig ditches in the desert like me. But goddamn, if you're going to shit on the working class, then you're a piece of garbage. You're a piece of garbage. And those immigrants that everyone's talking so much shit on, that's the working class. They're not pirates. They're not leeches. The parasites and pirates and leeches are the people like Donald Trump who are literally engaged in piracy on the open seas, stealing people's oil, literally kidnapping people and killing them, literally stealing money from the government, he's suing the government for billions of dollars, that's your money, so that he could steal it. That's a leech. Not the working class. Thank you, everybody, for joining Illegitimate Non-Carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. My name is Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and working class hero.
But just to quickly follow up, I mean, do you think the White House has clearly sold this?
Oh man, another CNN. I'm gonna try to have more CNN on this show, because CNN, we won't have it for very much longer.
To the American people, sold this to your constituents. I mean, just during this conversation, it's been brought up that there were foiled assassination attempts against Trump. It's been brought up that the Iran nuclear program that Trump had previously said was obliterated. You brought up threats to American service members overseas. Like, which is it? What is the actual objective here?
Well, the objective specifically is to eliminate the ballistic missiles program, to eliminate the nuclear enrichment that was taking place and come to an agreement, and then also to eliminate the...
This is Paulina Luna. She's a Republican from Florida. She's real smart. Let's see what she says about the war in Iran.
Iranian Navy. And so those would be the three immediate objectives of the White House. But, you know, in everything that you stated also, those are all true. And what I'm doing is I'm telling my constituents, I'm trying to do as much media as I can to get the message out to my constituents specifically. And I think as of right now, because of how fast this is all moving, you know, the first 100 hours of war are the most important. You know, we're, you know, hour 24 in. And so as things continue to evolve, which, you know, as you just stated earlier, Saudi government may be jumping in. Obviously, these things will change. And so we will be providing updates as necessary. But I think the president's team, I want to assure the American people that based on the information that I'm receiving and what I can share in a not classified setting, this is well thought out. It's not just being done willy-nilly. It is a well thought out plan.
It's totally willy-nilly. When they say it's totally well thought out, no, it's willy-nilly. They have no fucking plan. Who's going to take over? Oh, the people are. Which people? We killed them all. You're a clown extending your net to the entire world. A clown? A clown with a net? A clown? How dare you call me a clown? How dare you call me a clown? You call me a clown? How dare you call me a clown, you son of a bitch? Ah, my net in the entire world. How dare you? You bastards. How dare you? Concepts of plan says will buy us exactly. Trump's bone spurs. How dare you call me a clown hate speaker, Sargon of Akkad? Positrack says I'm his hero, or their hero. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, Positrack, but I love you. Thank you so much. You like how he called it war? Yeah, ding dang do. It's a war. I thought it wasn't a war, huh? I thought it wasn't a war. I thought that we were doing the peace president shit. I thought we were peace presidenting. I thought we were doing the peace president. Oh, ding dang do. Where's my... Who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes? Who are you going to believe? Don't believe your own eyes. Believe me. I'm Donald Trump. Don't worry. I'm your friend, the politician. I got everything. I got all the answers. Don't you worry. You boys and girls, you're doing all right, right? Crazy. Oh, man's only as old as the woman that he feels. Israel is spending $2 million. Thank you, Kathy, for those ding-dang doos. Missiles trying to take out Iranian missiles out of the sky. $2 million. I know. Do you think they could stop them all? I don't know. It seems like Tel Aviv just got bombed. Too bad Bahrain and Beirut don't have those, huh? Yeah. Impeach the peach. That'd be pretty nice. Let's do it. Let's get rid of him. Impeachment might be too nice of a thing. Oh, let's hear what Ted Cruz has to say. A ding-dang-do. Ted Cruz got something to say about it.
And Senator, what you say about Iran and how diabolical the regime is.
Diabolical.
No question it has been that way for decades. President Trump says, in terms of the timing, why now? One of the reasons for striking Iran is that they could soon have a missile that would reach the American homeland. I had the Vice Chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, on this program earlier. He said he saw no intelligence that supports that claim, that there is an imminent threat. Have you seen anything that supports that, or did the president tell you that when you were with him on Friday?
Well, Iran has a very significant cache of missiles, both short range, medium range, and they're working on long range missiles. Much of the military strikes that are being carried out right now are taking out those missiles, in particular the southern missile belt the United States is focusing on. Iran has been building roughly 100 missiles a month. And so one of the military objectives of this action is to take those missiles out. Those are the very same missiles that they're firing right now at just about every other country in the Middle East. They're attacking all of their neighbors indiscriminately. And
it's not indiscriminately.
We've seen Israel has launched over 1,200
indiscriminately.
airstrikes in the last day. The United States has launched more than 900.
They're attacking countries that are playing ball with the United States. That's what they're doing. They're attacking military targets inside of Middle Eastern countries because Iran is completely controlled, surrounded by military targets. So, I mean, Iran could bomb a lot of places. They could probably get a lot of missiles out. I mean, if I'm Iran right now, they just put on TV, Iran shared this thing of all the drones they got. I mean, I'd be a little bit afraid if I were living in Beirut right now. I'd be getting out of that skedaddle. I'm a little bit afraid over here in California because, after all, my whole life they told me that Iran's got them dirty bombs, baby. Look out for them dirty bombs. They call them dirty bombs. Aren't you worried about them dirty bombs? Aren't you worried about the dirty bombs? I'm worried about the dirty bombs. Let's get dirty. Let's get dirty with the dirty bomb. Let me turn the gain up. Let's get dirty with the dirty bombs. We got this is the After Dark special. We're going to bomb you with the dirty bombs. Yeah, do you remember all the dirty bombs after 9/11? Everyone was really into it. Everyone was talking about Iran is going to bomb us with the dirty bombs. They're going to be dirty bombs all over the place. We're going to get real dirty. Real dirty with I've never seen a dirty bomb go off, but they always tell me about the dirty bombs. Are you afraid of the dirty bombs? Don't be afraid of the dirty bombs. Be afraid of the dirty moms. There's dirty moms and there's dirty bombs. You gotta be worried about the dirty moms, but not the dirty bombs. There's no such thing as a dirty bomb, but there's lots of dirty moms out there.
100 airstrikes in the last day. This is focused on taking out that missile capacity, degrading their military capacity.
Right.
But critically, you asked why now.
Nurse
Let
Rod.
me tell you why now. Because this is the opportunity where the regime is at the very weakest point it has been for
They're on their knees, so we're going to kick them.
47 years.
That's how we do in Texas. Ted Cruz is from Texas. They're on the knees. We're going to kick them. A ding-dang-do. We're going to kick them. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Ride 'em, cowboy. We're going to kick them when they're on their knees. That's how we do in Texas. We got no honor. We're going to kick them when they're on their knees. Woohoo! Yeehaw!
Last year, Iran lost the 12-day war. Tyrannies stay in power by convincing their people, convincing their enemies that they are invincible, that they cannot be defeated.
Ooh, man, that's America. He just described America. Tyrannies stay in power by convincing the people that they cannot be defeated. If you vote Democrat, the world's going to end. You're going to have World War III. They're going to attack Iran. Do you remember when Donald Trump used to say that Barack Obama is going to attack Iran and we're all going to die? It's the worst thing ever. Why would you vote for that Nigerian prince, Barack Obama? He's not from America, folks. He's not. He doesn't have a birth certificate. No birth certificate. No president. You can't be a president if you don't have a birth certificate. That's true. That's the thing. Can't do it.
And there are real-world consequences to losing a war, not just political messaging and spin. If there is anything possibly worse than losing a war for an Islamist dictator, it is losing a war to Israel. And Israel clearly, unequivocally defeated the Ayatollah in the 12-day war. And President Trump sent our bombers to take out their nuclear facilities and did so with incredible success. That means what I urged President Trump on Friday. I said this regime is teetering. It is hanging by a thread. Do not miss this opportunity, because removing this regime that wants to murder us.
So regime change. Do you remember what Donald Trump said he wasn't going to do regime change? How do you maggers catch up? All of a sudden, you guys are for regime change. God, it's so difficult to find out what is your policy. What is your policy, maggers? Like, you guys say you're against regime change. Then Ted Cruz gets on the news and says, I think we should have some regime change. Well, ding dang do. We got some regime change. Ding dang do. And then you're like, oh, I hate Putin. Putin's the villain. The Putin, you can't trust him. I think that he's a wonderful man. He's a great guy. I love him. He's a wonderful dude. Like, what in the fuck? Little Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un, Little Rocket Man. I love him. He wrote me a beautiful letter. Like, how do you guys keep up with your little guru, your cult leader, man? This cult leader, like, he goes with the wind. He's like Forrest Gump. I'm not a bright man, but I do know what love is. Except he's just like that feather in the movie. You know, there's a pretty strong kind of in-your-face metaphor in that film with the feather blowing around and blows around America. In the end, he like lets it out of the lunchbox or some shit. Remember that fucking movie? Remember Forrest Gump? Does anyone remember this movie? How do you keep up with this guy? Jesus. Yeah, MAGA flip-flop. Yeah, they have the resolution of a they have the resolution of a goddamn weather vane, like one of those roosters that flies around on the top of your barn, you know, in the tornado. You know, like in the movie Twister, the movie Twister. Ding dang do.
Let's bring in foreign affairs opinion columnist for the New York Times, Thomas Friedman. He's the author of the
My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump.
best-selling book titled From Beirut to Jerusalem. It's good to have you on this morning.
You know, Thomas, I don't have much of a life, so I remember op-eds that people wrote 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I remember, Maureen Dowd's op-ed before George W. Bush was elected president, talking about what determines a presidency is not what you plan for, but what you didn't plan for. But I remember in the spring of 2003, you writing an op-ed after the invasion of Iraq, talking to an Iranian saying, you picked the wrong country. Why didn't you come here? Which is quite interesting. Of the three axis of evil countries, we picked the one without nuclear ambitions in 2003. I'm curious your thoughts about the death of Khamenei, the place that Iran has had in the world since 1979, and whether this war could end up having a significant impact on the world and the region, in spite of any missteps that we make politically.
Well, Joe, we're in day 3, so obviously it's enormously early in this whole enterprise. But on the one side, Joe, I would say that there is nothing that would improve the prospects of the Middle East to tilt it more toward.
You know, it's funny. So I used to own this business called Blast Zone Press, and the reason why we called it that was because where we lived was outside of the blast zone, just outside of the blast zone of Washington D.C. Because a lot of military contractors and stuff are just outside of the blast zone of Washington D.C. because of exactly that reason. They're in places like Charlottesville, Virginia, and stuff. Not all of them. Some are closer, of course, but a lot of them are just far enough away. So if there's a weapon of mass destruction dropped on DC, that they'll survive. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? So, yeah, luckily I'm in Southern California, so likely I'm safe. But you never know. Like if they bombed LA, I'd still be in bad shape. But again, dirty bombs. You want some dirty bombs. We worry about the dirty bomb. They've been telling me my whole life I got to worry about it. Yeah. Make mag turds cry. Oh, they're always crying. I need wet floor signs. We got any wet floor signs in the house? Do we have any wet floor signs in the house? Because those MAGA snowflakes are crying again. I got wet floors all over the place. We got any mag turds? Any maggers crying? All these maggers always crying. Oh, there's some crybabies. I see them. Parallelish got some crybabies in the house. Oh, man, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. Do you think that one of these nut jobs isn't going to get hold of some weapons? When are they going to do it, Christian Dune? When? They've been telling me that my whole life, Christian. They've been telling it my whole life. And I'm almost 50. And they've been telling my whole life that they've been doing this. Oh, they're a week away. 40 years solid. They've been a week away. Hey, Speaker Sargon of Akkad says higher wages for labor is a form of taxation on the rich, but you don't care because you'd rather own the MAGA church with diversity. What are you talking about, man? Diversity? I want higher wages. I want a revolution. What? You want higher wages for labor? Is that what you want? Or you think, oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that because of diversity, wages stay down. Yeah, I know. We've already talked about this because you think that wages go down because labor is a closed market or something. But again, we've already had this conversation. The price of labor doesn't go down because more labor enters the market. It's not like widgets. Labor is not like widgets. It doesn't work with just supply and demand. Well, there's more labor, so we can charge less. That's not how that works. More labor, you create more consumers as well, which creates more jobs because you have more people creating more widgets. It's widgets. You have to make more of them in order to supply the increased demand. Those people in the labor market are causing more demand. So everything goes up. Oh, God, it's so hard talking about macroeconomics with people who refuse to listen. You're one of those people that refuses to listen, but we've talked about this. It's not a closed market system like a widget, where you increase the supply of widgets and therefore the demand is lower and therefore the prices go down. Widgets are not people. Widgets don't consume anything, but people entering the labor force do. They consume. They have to rent houses. They have to go to restaurants. They have to eat. So when they get a job, they spend money, which turns the economy, which means that everybody needs to get more. You see? Basic macroeconomics. This is not hard. Okay, you want socialism. You see, your tribalism is showing again. No, I don't want socialism. There's no reason to get so draconian about this. It's not that hard. For years and years and years before the Cold War, Americans cobbled together some form of economic policy that basically was taxing the rich more than other people because they were benefiting more from our way of life than other people were. And we needed to make sure that the bottom doesn't fall out so that we don't have a lot of people who are dying in the gutters. So we try to raise them up as society gets more money and we have a higher GDP. Everyone goes up, right? Because everyone's contributing and some people are extracting more and some people are contributing more. And we're going to try to level that out with economic policy, domestic economic policy, socialism. I mean, you have a little bit of socialism. You can't get away from some socialism. That's how you get roads and streets and streetlights and libraries and police and firemen. All of that is socialism. All this stuff, the interstate highway system, all of this is socialism. All the good stuff you like, Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security, all the good stuff that you like about the government, that's all socialism. Now, could you have some kind of market socialism? Of course, but it's always going to be a mixture. You're never going to have just one way of doing it. It's literally impossible. Literally impossible. They've tried, so many societies in throughout history have tried this one way of doing things. It doesn't work. It never does. An extreme view generally doesn't work. But I also think that we shouldn't have a government, so that's all me. There's nothing I can do to support that argument. Labor supply directly affects wages in every field. I can't find anything. There you go. Of course not. Short-term labor influx can cause changes to the price of labor. Yeah, but once they get jobs and they increase the wealth of the area, everyone starts making money because it creates all these spin-off economies. It's like the Las Vegas. People think Las Vegas is just casinos. Well, that would be really stupid because the people who work in the casinos need to go to supermarkets, so they got to build supermarkets. People who have supermarkets, they got to have banks, so they got to build more banks. Then you have an entire society on all these different things, and you're like, well, it's all about casinos in Las Vegas, right? No, they have gas stations and supermarkets and places to rent and houses and investment opportunities and all sorts of things happen because of the casinos. And if you brought a bunch of more people and more people enter Las Vegas, it doesn't lower the cost of labor. That's why you have unions. That's why you have collective bargaining agreements. So they can't. So they can't just hire any asshole off the street. You got to go get your education and do whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we're not going to get all into that. We've already had this conversation.
it seems to me that we can't get better. We can't become the kinds of people that democracies require if we keep lying to ourselves about who we are.
Magic, nice. I like magic. Dude, it's not magic, Steve. We've already gone over this. This is basic macroeconomics, man. Like, you've got it in your head, this weird racist thing and xenophobia where you're afraid of people coming in and stealing jobs. And that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. Like, you have a fundamental flaw in your way of thinking. Because someone told you supply and demand at one point. Rah, supply and demand. It's always like all these people with parrots of supply and demand. And it's like, yeah, supply and demand is like the fundamental law of economy when you're talking about capitalism. But that's not it. That's not the end of fucking economics. And people are not widgets. Widgets do not consume. Widgets do not create jobs. If it's just supply and demand for, like, I don't know, kazoos. You're a kazoo salesman. If you made more kazoos, the price of kazoos will go down because you found out a really cheap way to make kazoos. But people are not kazoos. People are not objects. It's very simple. He makes $8 an hour in super chats. No wonder he's crying. Dummy is broken, won't work. Got it. Chrisen, wow, you just got here, didn't you? You're not very smart.
And I think being honest, that decency isn't the defining attribute of the American public. It's something that we aspire to be. But as human beings, right, we are fraught and fallen. And we can tell a story about that.
Best people. All right, that's it. That's the show. I'm done. I'm done arguing with people. One last one from Hey Speaker. I didn't see what I saw right. Like a magic trick. Got you. No, you're again. This is where myopia comes in. I just acknowledge that in the very beginning, if you have a bunch of people enter the workforce, it can drive down labor prices for a short amount of time, especially for those people at the bottom. But the people who are already there, they usually get a bump. Actually, the people who are there, like American citizens, when you get an influx, the people who are already working, they usually get a bump because the people below those lower end jobs, they have an influx, and you have to figure out something to do, and then it generally stabilizes but that's very unusual for a large group of people to come in. But that's not what we're seeing. We don't see these large groups of people enter communities, generally speaking, unless it's by design, like with the Somalis in fucking Minnesota. They imported those people for all intents and purposes because they had a bunch of slaughterhouses there that didn't have any workers. No one wanted to work at the slaughterhouse in Minnesota. And so they imported people from Somalia that would be happy to do it. And there was something like 18,000 jobs. It was a lot. It was a lot of jobs. And they didn't have anybody to fill them. And so they imported Somalis. And now they're pissed off. There's all these Somalis walking around. You fucking brought them here. And you know why they did that? It's because they didn't want to pay people to work in slaughterhouses. You're right. That's why they did it. But that was artificial. They did it intentionally. That was by design, Steve. They have people, and truckers are the same thing. Truckers are very classic, right? Nobody wants to be a trucker because there's no future. It used to be you could be a trucker and make a lot of good money for like 40 years, and then you retire. Truckers did okay in America, actually. But now everyone knows that truckers are getting fucked, and they know there's no future in it. You won't be able to have that job in 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. That job will be gone. So who's going to fill it right now? So what they do, they don't want to pay truckers more money. And that was the problem. Truckers were like, great, no one wants to be a trucker, pay me more. And what they do, they imported people. They imported immigrants in order to get that job, in order to pay them less. That's by design. That wasn't because people were just free and moving around, man. And so for you to blame the immigrant there is stupid and myopic. Yeah, it's stupid and it's racist. It's not the immigrant's fault. Anyway. Thank you so much for joining Illegitimate Non-Copyright and Don't Let the Bastards Grind You Down. I hope you have a beautiful day. Stay strong. Godspeed, Rebels. I'll see you in the afterglow if you're a channel member. Sky City Rebels. Don't let the bastards grind you down. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about the news a little bit more. Hopefully we'll not bomb anybody, but I'm guessing there's going to be a lot more bombs dropping, and we'll see a lot more bomb stories tomorrow. God damn it. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so friggin' much.